There wasn't much to smile about for the Bandits on the West Coast in week number 14. A loss to the last place Warriors was the defending champs third in a row. The Bandits now find themselves in a crowded playoff battle. The Saskatchewan Rush, meanwhile, got off to a strong start and put together a complete game on the road in Colorado. They've won 3 of their last 4 and are now firmly placed in the playoff conversation. It's the Saskatchewan Rush and the Buffalo Bandits. And it's coming up next. Outside Buffalo lurks the Guardians of the Galaxy. Inside, there's one Guardian who is back to protect the net. Marvel Superhero Night in Buffalo, Bandits and Rush. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to our broadcast tonight. I'm John Gertler, along with Steve Bermel. Thanks for joining us. And, well, it's really hard to accept the fact that this Buffalo Bandit team, they're a better team than their record indicates. I haven't heard that in a long time, and I haven't seen the Bandits play this bad since 2018.
Yeah, John, Coach Keenan for the Rush mentioned that the Bandits might be better than their record, but this is the first time the Bandits have had 6 losses in a season since 2018.
The Rush in their new look, lime green, it's bright out there for sure. Only 3 players have returned from their offensive last year, but they welcomed a familiar name here in the East Coast. It's Zach Mans, who played for Toronto, and he's really helped them out.
Yeah, John, a change behind the bench. Derek Keenan goes from the general manager role to coaching. Zach Mans second on the team in scoring, 20 goals, 25 assists for 45, behind Robert Church, who has 49 points. But as you mentioned, a familiar face, 4 goals and 3 assists with the Toronto Rock last year in the playoffs against Buffalo. Actually, 4 goals in Game 1 against Buffalo of the playoffs last year.
And the Buffalo Bandits still averaging 13 goals a game. They are led by the best 1-2 punch in the league in Dane Smith and Josh Byrne. And Byrne is just a torrid goal scorer right now. He is projected to score some 124 points this year.
Yeah, John, Byrne first on the team in scoring, 76 points, 31 of those goals. Despite this Bandits team struggling, Josh Byrne is not struggling to put the ball in the net. Number 1 on the Bandits. He's 6 goals behind Jeff Teat for the league lead in goals scored, and he does have a game in hand as Jeff Teat has played 12 games with Byrne playing 11.
Officially now the March to May, and 15 teams all together, and 3 games tonight, 4 tomorrow, 1 on Sunday. It's a busy, busy weekend in the NLL.
Yeah, John, the Bandits slumping a little bit, falling down to 5-6, still in the playoff picture. Saskatchewan making a rush up the standings, up to 4-5, having played just 9 games, firmly in the playoff picture.
Look at the Toronto Rock, my goodness. Gosh, gone from the Saskatchewan Rush since last season. Mark Matthews on that trade that went to Toronto. Ryan Dilks, Kyle Rubisch, Dan Littner, Marshall Palace, Matt Beers, Reese Dutch, and Alex Bouquet and Eric Penny out of the lineup. Gone from last year. So Keenan has his work cut out for him, but he told us that he likes what he sees, and one of the reasons why he went back behind the bench January 24th is he said, I could do something. I just didn't feel right watching the team. I want to help him.
Yeah, he said there were some things that could be done pre-game preparation-wise and some adjustments that could be made during a game that he kind of felt he could be more effective behind the bench. So he moves back down. Another name, John, a player that was a huge part of the Rush success, especially their time in Edmonton, Chris Corbeil, right? Gone before those guys, but Corbeil spending some time with the Toronto Rock last season and this season. So a rejuvenated defense, a young defensive force.
Frank Chiliano starts tonight for the Rush coming into this evening's game. .780 save percentage. 6'3", 275 pounds. He is a big one. Made 32 saves in their win last week against Colorado. 7 years in Calgary, 4 seasons in San Diego, and number 48, Matt Vince, is back. .760 save percentage, 38 saves. The last performance in Halifax, 54-18 as a Bandit. Let's go down to Dave Buchanan and Steve Priolo.
Steve, what is this team's mindset as you try to snap a 3-game losing streak?
We got to worry about us and not anything else, not the noise. We just got to take care of business within our own locker room and on the floor.
You get Matt Vince back tonight. How much of it helped from a coaching standpoint, having him help coach the defense out there?
Matt's the leader of this fucking group. Matt's the leader of this group. It starts with him. We added a nice person in Farrell, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
(2,181 days since the last time these two teams met. Back in 2019 when the Bandits won in overtime in Saskatchewan. This is the first visit since 2018. What about the draw by Connor Farrell?
John, the crowd's excited about that. First draw, Connor Farrell over Mike Messenger. Farrell coming in from the PLL. A couple of stints with NLL teams, but never in the active roster. San Diego, New York, Rochester. So a good start for Connor Farrell.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the Bandits wear their Marvel uniforms here tonight in Buffalo, and stretching the ball with 5 seconds left on the shot clock as Dane Smith takes the shot. Chiliano comes up with a save, scoops it up in the big spoon, and will just toss it aside, and this will be the Rush's first set here in Buffalo. Great to have you with us tonight. CW23, ESPN Plus, and TSN Plus. And on the radio, WGR Sports Radio 550. There's a big save for Matt Vince. And a point-blank shot right at the top of the crease. Here comes Buffalo in over the line, at the straining line of the Rush. As Ian McKay tipping it over to a deking Dane Smith from the far corner. Out in front. Tried to set up Dehuka Nanako, couldn't do it. He was batted down to the turf. Loose ball is picked up, and here's a charge by Buffalo. In and out of the crease it goes. Cleared back out, and down the left wing lane come the Saskatchewan Rush. The end of the line is Bobby King III. He's the one that sets the tempo for the defense, and now back off for the offense is Patrick Dodds. Young rookie a couple of years ago with Panther City Lacrosse. A shot straight on by Zach Mans. That's a familiar name, Steve.
Yeah, Mans played with Toronto Rock last year, had some great success in the series against Buffalo. And John, back and forth, a ball trickles through Matt Vince's legs, doesn't quite find it in the net. That time in transition, it's Corey Highfield. It goes through Chiliano's legs, stops short of the goal line.
Here come the Rush, leaving the ball out at center. They have to gather it down from the far Buffalo corner, and back out they come from the top of the slot. A left wing pass coming in strong, shot on, point blank range. Vince is there. The Guardian tonight for the Buffalo Bandits, and the theme on their jerseys, Guardians of the Galaxy. And they're playing for the mascot, Rax.
Yeah,
Rock Burns takes the shot, blocked into traffic. He's taken down on the turf as well, and Chiliano got that one.
John, you mentioned the Rax, the raccoon, Rocket Raccoon, one of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So it makes sense that that's the mashup. Rocket Raccoon on the jerseys.
Shot straight on by Robert Church. Save, Matt Vince. Rebound is scooped up. And Wires brings it back out to center. No score here in the first. His other partner, Dylan Robinson, will leave it off now to Ian McKay, playing up front in this game. Dehuka Nanako to the far corner. There is Chase Fraser. Leaves it back over to Josh Byrne. Byrne out in front. Leaves it to Nanako. And Chiliano, how he got a piece of that one, nobody knows. But Derek Keenan very happy with his performance, particularly last week in Colorado.
Yeah, solid win all around for the Rush, and starting with their goaltender. Chiliano, a veteran, spent some time with San Diego, having success now with the Saskatchewan Rush.
No score here in the first. Shots on goal favoring the Bandits 4-3, but here come the Rush led by Robert Church, deking his way close to Matt Vince, goes field wide. There's a beautiful deke on. And off the shot of Clark Walter. Another new name for the Rush as he pulled out of the far Buffalo corner and it's wheeled back out to center. That carried by Corey Highfield. Clearing the ball now for Buffalo's forwards coming out with Chris Kluche along with Josh Byrne. Byrne from the top of the slot, leaving it back to Kluche with a shot that goes right on. That goes to the right side. Did not hit Chiliano, so Dane Smith comes right back with 5 seconds to shoot. Tried to feed it out in front to Kyle Buchanan. Nothing doing there, and here come the Rush down the left wing lane.
Nifty two-man game between Josh Byrne and Chris Cloutier. Byrne fakes the shot, dumps it down low to Cloutier. Cloutier fired it just wide.
Patrick Dodds leaving the ball. Over to the far Buffalo corner. Good pick set by the Saskatchewan Rush. Robert Church has it now. Field wide to the far side. Deking on with a shot straight on. This went wide of the Buffalo net and now picked up by Dylan Robinson. In over the lane. He comes with Ian McKay out in front. Shot score! Buffalo! Tehoka.
This is beautiful transition by the Buffalo Bandits. A shot goes wide. Ball comes up the floor to Dylan Robinson. Robinson does a good job finding McKay off the bench. McKay off the bench kind of stays back a little bit. He doesn't quite drive the middle slot, but Tehoka does, and what that kind of sets up is levels off the bench, right? So McKay hanging back by the restraining line, quickly flips the ball out in front to Nanticoke. The last time Nanticoke's out front, he faked about 3 times and wasn't able to beat Chiliano. This time, one quick fake. He deposits it behind Chiliano. We have our first goal almost 5 minutes into the first quarter.
15th of the season for Tehoka. Scramble for the draw, leaves it off for the Buffalo's favor. So Connor Farrell, duly acquired face-off expert, playing in his first ever NLL game. Leaving the ball for the Bandits in the possession, giving the rhythm for this offense that they need. Trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Josh Byrne leaving it back over to the far side from Smith. Now to Cloutier. Cloutier to Buchanan with a shot. Chiliano getting the save. A rebound is scooped up by Chase Fraser. Leaving it back over to Smith outside the restraining line. Cloutier is there. Now to Smith. Tips it over to Fraser. Fraser from behind the net, trying to feed it out in front. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Fraser with a shot. Chiliano with the save.
One-man effort there from Fraser, taking it from behind the net, bullies his way out front, gets a good look, but a good save from Frank Chiliano.
Here's Church coming inside the crease area. Got it in the net, but it was waved off. Robert Church with a full head of steam, but caught by sticking his foot in the crease area. 9:18 left to play, first quarter. Buffalo leading it 1-0. Tehoka Nanticoke with his 15th of the season. The National Lacrosse League March to May is presented by NLLshop.com. A Fanatics experience. Officially licensed everything.
Tonight is Marvel Superhero Night here in Bandit Land, and the Buffalo Bandits sporting their Guardians of the Galaxy jerseys. And as John and Steve had already talked about, the Rocket Raccoon from the Guardians is front and center on the jerseys, which is a great tie-in to the Buffalo Bandits logo and their mascot Rex. The fans coming in tonight as well got this limited edition comic book which highlights the indigenous roots of the game of lacrosse, and fans can go to web.dashapp.io to bid on these jerseys and shorts and take one of these game-worn jerseys home with them if they win the auction.
Thank you, Dave. Marvel Superhero Night, Guardians of the Galaxy, and now the Guardians, the Bandits, down into the rush zone. Dean Smith along with Josh Byrne combined together. Byrne leaving it out in front there for Nanticoke, who is double teamed on the play. Forced down to the turf, but still hangs on to the ball amazingly enough. Now it drips free and picked up by the Rush, and here they come back out of center. Good bump by Buffalo's defense.
That forced it over.
Move by Martin.
That forced it over and back, John. As soon as the Rush brought the ball over the timeline, that bump pushed them back. And Tehoka Nanticoke had the stick knocked out of his hand with the ball in it. Picked it back up and kept possession.
There's Buffalo down in the rush zone from the far side. Fraser with a shot saved by Chiliano. Ball just trickles to the left side of the Saskatchewan net. And it's cleared back out at center. 1-0 Buffalo here in the first. 8-4 in shots favoring the Bandits. Rush on the attack, crossing the Buffalo restraining line, leaving the ball down into the far Buffalo corner. Now back out to Patrick Dodds. Dodds elects to go back over to the far side. Dodds gets it again. Looking for a rush with 7 to shoot. Deking is Church. He's heavily covered by Belter. Church getting a shot away. Vince making the save, and the rebound picked up by Cam Wires. Cleared back out at center. Nick Weiss will flip it off, and here comes Buffalo now charging in with Dane Smith to the opposite side. Smith with a shot. Chiliano with a save. Rebound Buffalo, and the reset of the shot clock is Ian McKay from behind the Saskatchewan net. He'll go all the way out at center. Save the over and back charge to Buchanan, who fires it over to Chris Cloutier. Cloutier now back over to Dane Smith. Smith feeding it out in front, intended. Or Fraser couldn't make the connection, and the ball is batted from behind the net, but good forechecking by Buffalo, keeping men at bay. And 7, 8. I don't know if they'll make it by the 8-second charge. I guess they did. In over the line come the Rush with a shot whistling wide. Rebound along the near boards down in the Bandit zone. A good bat by Corey Highfield. The ball is picked up by Cousins. That's left back down into the Buffalo zone. Back out at center. Picked up now by Josh Byrne. He'll come in over the restraining line of Saskatchewan. Field wide over to Smith with a shot, and that hits the back. I believe it Chase Fraser. He goes down hard, man. I mean, that ball was square on the back. Cloutier with the shot takes it. Chiliano makes the save, and the rebound comes all the way back out at center, and here come the Rush. Preparing to cross the Buffalo restraining line from the left wing side. Ball carried big over the line. Left down to Patrick Dodds from the near corner. He scoots out to the slot area. Slips it back over to the far side. Carried in close. Dodds tried to get something together but couldn't do it. He's taken down in the turf. Vince comes all the way out of his perch and goes to the near Buffalo corner to sweep it out at center.
Josh Byrne broke up that play defensively. The crowd was pretty excited because Byrne was stuck out there on defense. Vince just scooped the ball down the floor. Now the Bandits have 5 defenders out.
Here come the Rush again. Plenty of time left on the shot clock. Friolo is there, firing it to the far side. Shot wide of the net, picked up now by Patrick Dodds. Friolo at 6'8", 240 pounds, who moves some players out of the way. And here comes from the side. They score! Saskatchewan on the board on a diving shot. And Chris Walter, the goal scorer, his 11th of the season.
Walter able to beat his man here down to the crease. That might be Corey Highfield. Yeah, he beats Highfield with just kind of a quick step and gets to the edge of the crease. That's Frank Brown. And he comes across, scores a goal similar to what Robert Church did with the crease violation, coming across the goal mouth over Matt Vince's right shoulder. Church put it over his left shoulder. But just a good job there to beat his man to the crease by Clark Walter, beating Corey Highfield and able to score on the crease dive. That's a good possession there for the Rush. Good hard work. And man, these fans love when Connor Farrell's winning a faceoff.
He's a big boy, 6'2", 240 pounds. Played his college lacrosse at Long Island University. Also was a middle linebacker for their football team. You think?
You said 71% at Long Island, something like
yes.
that, 71% from the dot. PLL number was, let me see real quick, PLL number 57%. So 71% in college, 57% in the field game.
Rush trying it again down into the Bandit zone, blocked by a host of Bandit defenders. They'll try it again from the left wing side, just inside the restraining line of Buffalo, carried by Church. He goes field wide. There's a drive, hard. And Matt Vince is there. If you just joined us, Matt Vince back in the lineup after missing 2 games with another upper body injury. A welcome addition there for the Bandits as Josh Byrne comes in across the line along with Fraser, leading it to Smith. Smith now to McKay. McKay back to Byrne. This is a great spot for Byrne to shoot the ball, which he does, just to the left side of Chiliano. Rebound is picked up, or is it by?
Still loose down there.
By the Rush, but it's whistled. 1-1 the score. 4 minutes, 29 seconds left to play in the first quarter.
March to May.
It's always a bit of a homecoming when Derek Keenan returns to Buffalo, as the Rush head coach played for the Bandits during their first 2 seasons in '92 and '93, winning a pair of championships, including that memorable undefeated season. There you see him in action against the Detroit Turbos in 1992, getting the setup pass from John Tavares, who was his teammate. He had very fond memories of playing here in Buffalo alongside veteran Kevin Alexander, plus a talented group of youngsters that included John Tavares, Darius and Richie Kilgore, and Jim Veltman. He said the team was loaded with talent and could score, but they always weren't great with defense, so they had to score over 20 goals usually to win during that first season. And guys, that team was loaded with guys that became NLL head coaches: Keenan, Tavares, Bob Hamley with Panther City now, and Philadelphia's Paul Day.
And as Keenan said, a very eclectic team in 1992 for the Bandits. Keenan also scoring 14 points in 1 game. Second overall in the most points. Still, guess who's first? Stainhouse with 17. Great story, Dave. Thank you. As his Rush team continues the attack down into the Buffalo zone. Score is tied at 1. In over the line, Triolo is there with his 6'8" frame, takes the shot. Vince with the save. The rebound goes into the far Buffalo corner. Trickled back out and cleared by Matt Vince to the awaiting captain, Steve Priolo. Dishing it off now to Josh Byrne. In over the line, he goes. Got McKay with him, along with a running shot. That one by Fraser. Goes wide. Time ticking down on the shot clock. Deking now is Kluche. Coming in with a diving shot. He's in the crease area. Waved off and cleared out now by the Rush. 1-1 the score. Shots on goal, 11-10. First meeting between these two clubs since 2019. Patrick Dodds with the ball, taking the shot. Wide, rebound picked up by Saskatchewan. They remain down into the Buffalo zone. Deking from the far side, shot on. Matt Vince got a piece of it, but again trickled across the goal line, and Saskatchewan takes a 2-1 lead.
I believe that's going to be Ryan Keenan who took this shot from the left side. And as you mentioned, Vince gets most of this, but he feels it trickling through his legs, and he tries to kind of do a snow angel on top of it to stop it from crossing the line. But by the time Vince realized that it was trickling through his legs, it had already crossed the goal line. So a little squeaker there for the Rush, give them a 2-1 lead. 3:08 to play in quarter number 1. Both goalies have been really good.
Yep.
Vince will want that one back, but a strong defensive and goaltending effort to start this game.
Even with Priolo there to help him out, it still made its way across the goal line to give the Saskatchewan Rush a 2-1 lead. Again, sweeping draw controlled by Carter Farrell. And again, Steve, you can see the pacing and rhythm pick up for the Bandits with that possession.
Yeah, the extra possessions are always welcome, and he's winning faceoffs clean to his teammates so they can get set up on offense quickly.
Josh Byrne back over to Dane Smith with a shot straight on and plows right into Chiliano. That's cleared off as the big goaltender stood strong at the crease line, and ball carried across the line by Ryan Barnable. He'll leave it back and forth now in an over and back charge.
John, Dane Smith mentioned that he wanted to shoot more. He felt like he was squeezing his stick and not scoring enough. And so far this quarter, I think he's been pretty aggressive, looking to shoot more than he's been looking to pass.
Here's Dane again, trying to charge in from his right side, and there's a low drive by Kluche. Off Chiliano and picked up by the Rush, and they'll march out to center, leading it by 2-1 here in the first quarter. 2:07 remaining. Good deking play by the Rush off the strides of big Mike Messenger. He'll leave it to the top of the slot over for Church. Shot goes wide.
Credit to Belcher there as Messenger tried to cut in and take that shot. Belcher knocked it out of the pocket of his stick. And then the rebound to Church goes wide and then out of play. So Buffalo awarded possession.
Ian McKay and Josh Byrne team up together to get inside the Saskatchewan zone. Byrne is taken down. No call on the play. Loose ball picked up by Dane Smith. He gets it back over to Ian McKay, and then a big collision just to the right side of Chiliano, off ball, and we're going to have tonight's first penalty.
It's going to go to Josh Byrne. Let's see what the call is here.
Buffalo penalty number 22, 2 minutes, illegal cross check.
So an illegal cross-check right in front of Frank Chiliano as that play was developing on offense. And just a little bit high there with the cross-check on former Toronto Rock player Adam Jay. And now we'll see our first special teams opportunity of the night as the Rush power play will go to work.
47% for the Rush. 0 for 2 against Colorado. Church is their big point getter at 15, 9 goals, 6 assists. And the play is set up by Dodds, goes into the far corner, scoots back out to center, save the over and back charge. Zach Manns is there, will bring it across and leave it into the far corner. Church from the top of the slot. Left into the far corner. Now Church again with a shot that hits the goalpost right side of Matt Vince. Rebound picked up by the Rush as they work with a man advantage, and slowing the play down is Robert Church. Been with the club since 2014, 3 rings, leading it out. Triolo's shot goes over the crossbar. Rebound is picked up by Zach Manns from the right point. Now to the near side to Patrick Dodds. He's close. Tried to thread the needle over Robert Church, couldn't make it, and it'll be an over and back charge on the Rush.
That pass misses, just looking to go back up top to the shooter spot. Church couldn't corral it, and now Buffalo, 44 seconds to go in the quarter, can milk 30 seconds off the clock of this penalty and have a chance to maybe reset the shot clock.
We'll watch the shot clock and the penalty. Now with 55 seconds left, to Josh Byrne's call, the leading scorer of the Bandits. Josh Byrne in the penalty box. Bandits down 2-1. Luce taking more time off, watching the shot clock now to 3, and will leave it off to Buchanan, who just leaves it to the restraining line. It'll be picked up by the Rush.
Chiliano looking to the bench, but he's going to stay in the crease even though the Rush have last possession, because the Rush already have a man advantage with the power play.
Second most minors called on the Bandits coming into this evening's game. Halifax leading that statistic, number 1. And just at the close of the first quarter, Matt Vince takes a long shot to the doorstep of Frank Chiliano. 2-1 Saskatchewan after 1 tonight from the Key Bank Center.
Welcome back to Buffalo. About to start the second quarter. Saskatchewan leads 2-1. Rush forward Mike Triolo's had a long journey in the NLL on his way to landing with Saskatchewan this season, and it started with the Bandits drafting him in the 3rd round back in 2015. And while he didn't make it in Buffalo, he has found a home in Derek Keenan's offense. To hear Triolo describe it on the Lax Class podcast, he started out as a jack of all trades but a master of none. But he's honed his skills and transitioned from defense when he was drafted to a forward here with the Rush. Derek Keenan not only credits Triolo's 6'8" size, which makes him hard to stop, but also his heavy shot and how well he finishes around the crease, guys.
Yep, Dave, he's a big boy, 6'8", some 240 pounds. Keenan and crew like what they saw over the summertime when he played for Edmonton. Said he had to tone his game down a little bit. Said, you know, you're the big star in Edmonton, but not in the National Lacrosse League. You got to know your role. So he's undertaken that tutorial from Keenan and has turned in so far a nice campaign this year for the Rush. Leading this game 2-1. What do you got in numbers?
Maybe most importantly, 4 for 4 on faceoffs is Connor Farrell. He wins the faceoff to start the second quarter, scoops the loose ball, and then draws a penalty. So Connor Farrell 5 for 5 and gets a call heading to the bench. He's fired up. The bench is fired up. He's making an impact on this game.
Here's the call.
Saskatchewan calling number 8, 2 minutes holding.
So Farrell scoops the ball. He kind of didn't win the faceoff clean. He smacked it out to himself, scooped the loose ball, and just as he heads over the restraining line, gets grabbed and thrown down. So now the Bandits will have a power play in 9 seconds. Josh Byrne will come out of the box and no doubt join the power play. So the Bandits will probably just hold the ball for the first 9 seconds here. Let Byrne have the man advantage.
Bandits went 2 for 6 last week in Vancouver. They come into this evening's game 48%. And Dane Smith takes a shot. He scores! The Great Dane!
John, what did we say? He talked this week and said he wanted to shoot more. He's in that shooter spot at the top of the power play. If you remember all the way back to week 1, Dane Smith was playing that shooter spot, but he was struggling to kind of hit the net. So they swapped him out with Josh Byrne, and Byrne played that spot for a while. Dane Smith back in that top spot, takes the feed from the aforementioned Josh Byrne and just rips a sidearm. This is almost like just a quick snap of the wrist, and he's able to beat Chiliano. The Buffalo has tied this game up just 34 seconds into the second quarter.
13th of the season for Dane Smith, who also leads the NLL now with 18 power play points. Here's Buffalo again, knocking on the door with the ball bouncing to the left side of Chiliano, who puts it in the webbing of his spoon and makes the outlet pass back out to center. Right wing pass along the way. Cleared off by the Russian down into the Buffalo zone. Patrick Dodds from the right wing side in the Buffalo zone. Dekes his way to the slot, leaves it back to the far side to Triolo. That's busted up by Buffalo's defense, and here come the Bandits on a 3-on-2 break. Zeroing pass out in front. That's busted up by Saskatchewan and cleared back out to center.
A defensive shift for Dane Smith. He's played a lot of defense this year, maybe trying to spark some transition there, just didn't connect on the pass.
Coming into this evening's game with 72 loose balls. Dane Smith, as Saskatchewan comes down into the Buffalo zone, feeding the pass back over from the top of the slot area. That's picked up by Saskatchewan, tried to play the game, but Nathaniel Kozevnikov couldn't hang on to it, and Buffalo has it as Zach Belter scoops it up from the far Buffalo corner.
Former Bandit Nathaniel Kozevnikov. Coach Keenan said that he thinks he's better with the ball, or he's really good with the ball, and he'd like to see him get the ball a little bit more. Right now his role's been more off ball, but Kozevnikov complimented by his coach saying he's really good with the ball in his stick.
Fraser coming back for the ball along the near boards, but it's picked up by Saskatchewan and cleared by Ryan Marnable. Right to the line, and now Buffalo takes it right back. Nick Weiss getting the ball back up to Fraser. Takes a long drive. Chiliano got a piece of that one.
Had to shoot that one quick, John, because the shot clock was expiring. The Rush never possessed that ball. It wasn't an over and back. They knocked it over the timeline, but the Bandits scooping it back up were not awarded a fresh shot clock because the Rush never scooped up possession of that ball.
Here come the Rush again. Score! Just inside the zone. And Robert Church, the leading scorer of the Saskatchewan Rush, gives his club a 3-2 lead.
This is a smart decision by the Rush to shoot this early in the shot clock. Kind of feels like Buffalo may not have quite been set up on defense. The way that Saskatchewan got possession with that shot clock and Fraser shooting it wide, everyone was still kind of scrambling to get in position on both offense and defense. But Church able to get this ball, comes out from behind the net, steps up front, and picks the corner. A great shot there by Robert Church, and Saskatchewan takes the lead right back.
And the lead in shots 14-13, sweeping the ball, picked up by Saskatchewan, and they'll come across the Buffalo restraining line very quick, leading the ball to the doorstep of Matt Vince, who clears it back the left wing side, and Dane Smith is there to carry the Bandits over the restraining line of the Rush. Tic-tac-toe play busted up, and now the Rush counter back out. Jake Boudreau leaves the ball in to the Buffalo zone for the big guns. Placed out by Jimmy Quinlan, the co-coach, and the shot just to the left side of Matt Vince. So we got a piece of that one. Wait a minute. Ball hit the high netting. So they give the ball and a fresh 30 back over to the Rush. Top of the slot cleared away. Triolo leaves it back to the far side, now to the near side. Scooped up left to the top of the slot, leaving it shot on by Dodds. Gets his own rebound and leaves it back now to the points, and picked up and left over in front. Now that shot carried from the far side. Got a little piece of it for Matt Vince. Saskatchewan picks it up, and Zach Mans is there from the near side, leading it 3-2. Plenty of time on the shot clock as they continue to reset. Triolo got a shot away. That's bumped up by Buffalo's checking, and finally picked up by Nick Weiss. Comes into this evening's game in a 7-game point scoring streak. And we'll leave it off to Dane Smith, now to Josh Byrne. As Smith pulled a big shift on defense And Byrne leads the way across the line of the rush to Buchanan. Now to a running Ian McKay from the far side. He's got Cloutier with him along with Byrne. Byrne over the shoulder feed to Cloutier. Couldn't get the shot away, and it's picked up by Saskatchewan, and Chiliano will clear it down the lane. Ryan Barnable will hold up shop out at center and wait for another line change of the rush. Winners of 3 of the last 4, and a big one last week against Colorado, 15-7. 16 points between Church and Ryan Keenan. Takes a shot on, save in front there by Buffalo's defense, and the loose ball is picked up, and here come the Bandits. Dashing across the line is Dalton Silver with a shot that goes wide. So the birthday boy looked to get it behind Chiliano, but couldn't do it. 3-2 Saskatchewan tonight in the second quarter. Superhero night.
You're looking live at the towering rookies on Buffalo's defense. Cam Wires and Zach Belter, the 6'5" D-men, were 2 of Buffalo's 3 first-round picks from the 2022 draft alongside Dylan Robinson, and both have made their debuts this season. Their size and ability is something that general manager Steve Dietrich covets when looking for defensemen and sees them as potential pillars for his back end for the next 10 years, especially when Steve Priolo and Nick Weiss, among others, step away from the game. Wires, originally from Ottawa, played for Loyola in college. Belter's a true local product from North Tonawanda, New York. Played college ball at St. Bonaventure and went to Niagara-Wheatfield High School, the same place that Bandit legends Darius and Richie Kilgore went to. And this past summer, Belter played for Darius Kilgore with the Tuscarora Tomahawks in Senior B lacrosse and went all the way to the President's Cup.
Wires and Belter, big boys for Buffalo. The young defense getting some quality time here in this game, while Saskatchewan with a 3-2 lead continues to knock on the door. Good bat by Buffalo. The loose ball picked up by Nick Weiss. He comes in across the line. Weiss now leaves it out in front with a floater to Steve Priolo. Shoveling move will allow Buffalo's offense to come back out on the turf. Saskatchewan leading it 3-2. Dane Smith, one of the goal scorers for the Bandits, dashing in from the left side over to Nanticoke, back over to Smith. Smith finds an opening to a running Josh Byrne. He scores!
Josh Byrne able to finish that play. I believe this started with Nick Weiss catching a shot. So that shot was broken up. It looked like Nick Weiss may have caught that ball cleanly as it was shot. Transition slowed up, right? Priolo stops. They get the offense out on the floor, the big guns, if you will. Josh Byrne in full sprint catches this ball, turns on the turbo, and goes high to low to beat Chiliano. Real quick with almost like a twister of his wrists. And we mentioned what a great goal scorer Josh Byrne has been. Even though there's times this offense has been dormant for the Bandits, Josh Byrne continues to score goals. We're tied again. The Bandits yet to take the lead in this game, but tied up at 3.
First goal of the night for Josh Byrne, his 32nd of the season. Has fueled Buffalo's offense here in this second quarter of play. Tied at 3. Saskatchewan with the ball just outside the Buffalo race rating. Now a quick stick shot by Dodd, stopped by Vince, and the loose ball picked up by Buffalo, and they'll clear it back out to center. On a mad dash, carried by Corey Highfield, leaving it now to a running Kyle Buchanan, crossing the restraining line of the rush of Fraser. Fraser with his nifty deke, a swim move, trying to get close to Chiliano. Goes field wide. Tipping it back now to Ian McKay. Or check that, Cloutier. Cloutier to Fraser with a shot. Just to the right side of Chiliano. Bounces free and no time left on the shot clock, and Buffalo retreats. And now the defense comes back out. And Jimmy Quinlan, the co-coach of the Rush, putting his offense back out onto the turf. Ryan Keenan leaving the ball back over to Dodds, to Triolo, now to Zach Mans. Mans out in front. Oh. Good setup over to Robert Church. Better save by Matt Vince, and the ball carried out by Buffalo. 3-3 the score here in the second quarter of play. Shots on goal favoring Saskatchewan 22-14. Buffalo back down into the rush zone. Dane Smith deking, leaving it to Nanticoke. Nanticoke looking for an eye, will leave it back over to Kluche with a shot. Chiliano with the save, and the rebound is picked up by the rush and cleared back out to center. Carrying it to the line, Holden Garlett leaves it out, and now Saskatchewan comes back across the line. Big Triolo is out there as well, trying to push some guys around. He's got the ball from the left point, tips it back over. Clark Walter deking now is Keenan with a shot that goes to the left side of Matt Vince. Save the over and back charge. No time left on the shot clock, and the loose ball picked up by Buffalo. Now the Bandits down the left wing lane, led by Dane Smith. Smith tipping it over to the far side to a Josh Byrne. He's got Kluche with him. Byrne elects to go back over to Buchanan. Buchanan deking close. Into traffic, now a low drive. Shot hard by McKay, and Chiliano has to go down on his back end to stop that ball from rolling across the goal line.
I think if that ball went in, it would have been called off. Fraser was in the crease at the time of the shot. He got pushed in by an off-ball defender, but a good set there for Buffalo's offense.
Rush down into the Bandits zone. Score tied at 3 here in the second. A break now for Saskatchewan, and they score. Great deking play by the rush. And it's all teamwork, and finished off strong.
This is Ryan Keenan, and that jab step. You mentioned the deking move. That jab step able to beat Frank Brown to get around him and get to the top of the crease, and then able to fake short side and go back far side over Matt Vince's right shoulder. But what an effort there by Keenan to get himself open and to the top of the crease. A great move. And once again, the Rush restore their lead, up 4-3 with 6:25 to go in the half.
17th of the season for Ryan Keenan. Again, talking about Buffalo's 1-2 punch, and Smith and Byrne, a 1-2 punch with Keenan and Church combining together to fuel their club. 16 points between the two of them last week in Colorado. Deking is Ian McKay. He'll leave it down into the corner for Kluche. Kluche now to Nanticoke with a drive that goes wide. Rebound, Nanticoke on his own between the legs.
He drew a penalty too. No, he did not. Just a fresh shot clock. Sorry, I saw the arm go up. I thought it was a penalty, but he was just resetting the shot clock. What a shot between the legs by Tehoka, but a good save by Chiliano.
Saskatchewan right back down as Church is there, being hampered out. Lead pass in front intended for Triolo. He'll gather it in the webbing of his stick, and the 6'8" frame will leave it off now to the top of the slot as it goes. Good rotation by the Rush. Zach Mans is the one on the near side. They'll try to find him because Keenan said, boy, he floats very nicely. He's so quick. And the shot goes straight on in desperation with the 30-second shot clock. And Nick Weiss will bring it out for Buffalo here with the Rush leading it 4-3. 5 minutes left to play in this first half. Chase Fraser shipping it back over to McKay, who finds an opening to Josh Byrne. Byrne looking for two. Deeks his way. A one-arm shot to the right side. Goes wide. Rebound is Buchanan. Buchanan very quickly. Feed pass intended for Fraser, but it's busted up by the Rush's defense, and here they come crossing the Buffalo line very quickly. Turning from the far side is Church. Church leaving it out in front. High side, far side. Jake Boudreau tried to get that one together, but couldn't do it. And here comes Buffalo again, opening up somewhat of a track meet here in the second half of this second quarter. 4-3 Saskatchewan. In over the line is Dane Smith. Leaves it back over to Buchanan. Tipped it over to McKay. He's got to get back to it, looking for the dribbling ball. He's got control of it. The webbing of his stick back over to Smith. Deking. Smith for the shot. He scores!
Once again, the Bandits have tied this game, this time at 4. Dane Smith shooting, but give credit to Ian McKay. Unable to catch the pass cleanly, a little bit of a broken play, maybe a little frustrating to see it not get caught, but what does he do? He goes over to the boards, digs out that loose ball, earns that loose ball. Then they find Dane Smith with a little worm burner. An underhand shot. He didn't even really follow through, John. He just kind of rolled it, and it takes a couple of skips, and those ones can be tough for a goaltender to read, and that low-to-low shot ties this game up. It's 4-4 with just over 4 minutes to go in the half.
Connor Farrell wins the draw and brings the play all the way down into the Saskatchewan corner. He's bumped on it along the boards, but still trying to fight for it. Dylan Robinson in there as well, and now Saskatchewan regains composure out at center. 4-4 the score here in the second quarter of play. 3/4 remaining. Riolo will fire it back over to Cloutier, who finds an open Josh Byrne from the far Saskatchewan corner. Byrne double team on the play, loses the ball, and it's picked up by the Rush. And Steve, looks like the tenacity of the defense now really taking that ball away from the Bandits.
Yeah, and the Bandits are a little scrambly on offense. It worked out for them last time when McKay dug out that loose ball. Even this one, they get the ball back at midfield and have to reset, but some aggressive defense from the Rush.
Ian McKay leaving it over to Dane Smith. Very good pass to Josh Byrne on the quick stick that goes wide. Rebound Fraser. Back to Byrne. Byrne out in front. Tried to thread the needle over to Cloutier. Again, good defense, and Mike Messenger, the longest tenured player for Saskatchewan, brings the ball back out at center. Over the shoulder feed to the far side. Now to the near side to Ryan Keenan. First overall draft pick in 2016. Far side pass. Lead pass out in front. Now goes to the near side to Zach Mans. Mans in pursuit is Martin, as Mans gets a shot away with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. That goes over the glass and into the crowd. And that will stop things with 2 minutes and 25 seconds left to play. Second quarter. Score tied at 4 tonight from Buffalo.
Lax Metrics, powered by the NLL, is an innovative data approach to better understand our league. Cooper Perkins breaks down the numbers each week on NLL.com and the league's social media channels. And guys, this week Cooper highlighting Halifax's Clark Peterson in the season he's been having.
Cooper, Lax Metrics, high rating for Zach Mans. He has a stat called offensive rating, just like a quarterback rating, and puts Zach Mans third best in the NLL. You can figure out that formula, Steve. Let me know. Call me.
Yeah.
Toll free 1-800-I-DON'T-KNOW.
But as we mentioned, Mans had a nice series against Buffalo in that two-game sweep the Bandits had in the playoffs against Toronto last year. Mans with 4 goals in game 1 here in Buffalo before Buffalo went up to Toronto. Hamilton to take out Toronto 2-0. And now Mans with the Rush having a real good year. Second in scoring for the Saskatchewan Rush.
Still looking for his first point tonight in this game. Score tied at 4. Shot on by Buffalo. Shielding on it with a save. The rebound comes back out to center. Ball carried right to the line by Jake Boudreau. Very quick and changing. Keenan said, I let Jimmy do the offense and I'll just take care of it. I'll oversee the game plan.
Yeah, he mentioned he thought that there were some things that could be implemented pregame and some adjustments during the game, but still letting his coaches help him. And there's a nice goal there by the Rush.
Wow, what a goal by Robert Church to give his club a 1-goal lead, 5-4.
Church able to catch this ball in front of Matt Vince as he's going to the wrong side of the offense. And he goes behind the back over the shoulder and wraps that shot around both his shoulders and Frank Brown's shoulder into the net. While in full sprint, not even sure Church looked back at the net here as much as him just throwing it over the shoulder as he was getting knocked down to the turf. And for, I believe, the 4th time, the Rush have established a 1-goal lead.
Second goal of the night for Robert Church, 23rd of the season. Here's a guy last year that scored 51 goals for the Rush. As we had mentioned in the open, only 3 offensive players returning last year. And read the list of a who's who are not on the team this year. As Keenan going through a regroup here. Said we're extremely young, but we're fast and furious. Showing it tonight with a 5-4 lead. Buffalo's lead pass out in front. Again, trying these connection passes, which are missed. Retained from the corner. Running in is Smith. He's got to go back for it from the near corner. Comes back out on his own. Try to get back over to McKay, but the 30-second shot clock expires, and here come the rush.
Good stick there by Boudreau as Dane was trying to get that ball on net. He just broke it up enough. Ball kind of fell out of the pocket of his stick late in the shot clock. You mentioned the aggressive defense from the rush, John. They keep getting the sticks, you know, sticks to hands, right? And they're just jumbling up Buffalo's offense a little bit.
Keenan said reminiscent of the championship years of Edmonton and Saskatchewan. Said we're not quite as big, but boy are we fast. Man's got a shot away. That is blocked in the gut. Well, Nick Weiss, that one's going to leave a welt.
He's feeling that one. Had to peel himself off the turf, running it off as he got to the back door of the bench. Going to need a quick breather, will Nick Weiss.
Dalton Silver leaving the ball back down into the far corner of the Saskatchewan zone to Josh Byrne. Byrne now moves to the top of the slot. Feed pass over to Cloutier. Cloutier with a shot. Scores!
Cloutier with a double clutch. And John, this is the definition of a heavy shot, because it looks like Chiliano gets a good piece of this with his arm, and the ball still trickles past him. It might have had a little bit of English on it to help it into the net here. Kind of redirects off of Chiliano's arm into the net. And when you have that much heat behind that shot, it's just a heavy, not even necessarily how fast he shoots it, there's just a lot of power behind it. Gets trapped up in Chiliano's jersey a little bit, but still spins its way into the net. Once again, we have a tie game. 5th time this game has been tied.
20th goal of the season for Cloutier. Now 10 goals in his last 6 games.
And Connor Farrell wins the faceoff clean, and with just 17 seconds to go, the Bandits elect to take their timeout. So not only did Farrell win the faceoff, he gets it cleanly and allows Buffalo now to set up a 6-on-5 set. Buffalo will try to take the lead for the first time since the game was 1-0. And as we always say with these set plays, John, they'll milk the first 10 seconds or so off the clock and run this set play with 7 or 8 seconds to go in the quarter.
Hey, coming up at halftime, we'll have highlights and analysis, and we'll look at the grassroots of lacrosse and out-of-town scores for week number 15 here in the National Lacrosse League. Busy weekend in the NLL with 3 games tonight, 4 tomorrow, and 1 on Sunday. Talk about busy. How about this building? Tonight with the Buffalo Bandits at the KeyBank Center. Tomorrow afternoon, 12:30, the Sabres play the Edmonton Oilers. And then Sunday, Zach Brown comes in with his talents of country music. So never a dull moment here at KeyBank Center.
A busy weekend for sure, John. And I also, just pointing out on the schedule, love the Sunday afternoon games. You know, just something to turn on with the NLL having all these Sunday afternoon games. I love it, just throwing it on the TV or throwing it on the iPad on a Sunday afternoon. Now, we saw a great set play from the Bandits at the end of the game against Vancouver. We'll see what they draw up here. And as we said, they'll milk the clock for just a few seconds and probably get going in about 5 seconds.
Smith has got the ball. He crosses the restraining line of the rush. Takes the shot on. Back behind the net. Score! Nope. Net jumped off the mooring. They'll try it again. As Buchanan had it. I called the score as the net went off the mooring, but it went wide. So the 2 teams go to the dressing room, back and forth. (27-23) in shots favoring the Rush. And the offense now for Buffalo, finding Dave Smith with 2 goals and an assist, along with Josh Byrne, a goal and an assist. How about Ian McKay setting up those assists with a couple?
And Ian McKay playing out the front door, getting his chance to rock out the offense.
Let's go to Dave Buchanan with Josh Byrne.
Josh, you got Matt Vince back. You added a faceoff specialist. What did that do for the team's confidence?
Yeah, I mean, you can hear it in the building, right? Every time, Farrell's getting a win, these fans are on their feet, and that's a pretty cool thing for us and gives us momentum. So, and obviously, having the best in net is always a confidence boost for sure.
What's one little thing you guys might need to clean up in the second half?
I got to stay out of the box, man. It's a stupid penalty. We've been doing a great job. It's been a focus point, and, I got to be better there.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
5-5 the score here in Buffalo. Halftime coming up. All of the Guardians of the Galaxy are inside KeyBank Center helping out the Buffalo Bandits. Stave off a rush by Saskatchewan. What a game we have. Very exciting. Back and forth we go. Some good goal scoring, and can't wait for the second half. Hi again, everybody. John Gertler along with Steve Bermel. Steve, so far, so good for the Bandits.
Yeah, a close game so far. This game has been tied at every marker. 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, and now 5-5 at half. You couldn't have a better game. We've had 5 goals from each team. Can't be any more even than this.
It started out with the Bandits and a shot right on by Manicoke.
That's the only lead the Bandits have had so far was 1-0. The Rush coming back with back-to-back goals, taking the 2-1 lead, and that started off our march back and forth, with the Bandits having to tie it up every time the Rush took a 1-goal lead.
Just a trickler there, crossing the goal line on Matt Vince, but Bandits respond. The Great Dane.
Yeah, Dane Smith said midweek he was squeezing the stick a little bit, wanted to shoot more. We definitely saw him shoot the ball more in that quarter, and he found the jackpot twice.
Saskatchewan again returning, and now Buffalo returns the flavor, and it's Josh Byrne. What a beauty.
Yeah, Byrne with a full head of steam goes high to low, and we mentioned the move put on there on that goal by Derek Keenan. A great jab step. That's twice that they were able to get to the top of the crease and score on Matt Vince.
2 clubs with 2 1-2 punches, and Dane Smith finishes off with his second of the night.
Yeah, the little low worm burner to beat Chiliano. Robert Church with a catch and shoot here, wraps it around his own shoulders as well as Frank Brown. And to tie this game at 5 was Chris Cloutier. That heavy shot catches the jersey of Chiliano, ends up with a little bit of English on it, and crosses the goal line to tie us up at 5.
Spreading the love on offense. Let's take a look at the numbers, Steve, especially with the shots on goal, but more importantly, how about those faceoffs?
Yeah, Saskatchewan up 28-21 shots on goal. It wasn't all that long ago that the Bandits won 0 faceoffs in Halifax, up 11-1 on the back of Connor Farrell.
Loose ball category favoring Buffalo, and being Marvel Superhero Night, there's a couple of characters in the Zamboni entrance.
Iron
They'll
Man
be lurking around the arena as we celebrate this night. Two other games tonight in the National Lacrosse League. Albany with a big lead over Vancouver. And Steve, look at that, Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia got out to a real quick start in this game. I think they scored 3 goals in the first quarter before Calgary even realized that the game had started.
Big time game tomorrow night up in Hamilton, Colorado at Toronto. And boy, another back-to-back game for Albany. They just come down the throughway to Rochester.
Well, and for Albany, they're going to be watching that Toronto game. They're 1 game behind them in the standings. Albany at 9-2, Toronto at 10-2.
What do you think on the nightcaps here tomorrow night? Las Vegas at New York, Halifax at San Diego, and on Sunday, Panther City with Philadelphia.
We'll have a much clearer picture of the playoffs, or maybe not, the way they've been mixed up after those games, because this is a bunch of games between teams that are in the middle of the pack.
Many of today's NLL players were coached by former NLL greats. Current stars have followed in similar footsteps to pay it forward through coaching the next crop of future lacrosse legends.
And the Bandits are 2023 NLL champions.
The day after we won the championship, we ended up at 9 a.m. being at our Beast Championship and coaching. It's incredibly important for me to be involved with coaching. It's something that you can't really put words to, being able to pass information on to someone else and to see them take that and to be successful with it.
Those are the very, very, very basics, right?
We try to keep those talented kids in Buffalo because we figured the first few years they were leaving to go to Rochester or Canada, and it was due to coaching. And we want to kind of change that culture.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now you see a larger contingent of professional players getting involved in their local communities and wanting to see the sport grow. We want to create a cycle where players that come through our program come back to us and coach the next generation of Fusion players.
Growing the game is real important for the next generation, and we're all invested as coaches as well as currently players. In Orangeville, we do make a point that guys go back and coach minor teams and give back to the kids, and I think that's kind of a huge reason that we always talk about why Orangeville lacrosse is as successful as it is.
When I was a little boy, I had guys like Dylan Ward and Nick Rose come out to my practice, and they gave their tips and they actually cared, and at the age I am, it's my job to give back.
We came up with Turtle Island, Randy Stotts and I. We wanted to give the youth opportunity that we didn't have. We had to travel quite a distance to go and play in these, lacrosse tournaments. We wanted to give them a place where they could do that, but be home and they could have access to us.
I work as the director of classroom lacrosse for Elevate Lacrosse. I'm in schools on a daily basis, doing lacrosse residencies, introducing students to the sport of lacrosse. I know in the last 6 or 7 years, we've introduced over 100,000 students in Alberta.
Lacrosse has been very good to me. I've got my education paid for. I've got to travel the world. I've built an awesome network of friends across North America and the world. And for me, lacrosse has afforded me all that. And I wanted to be able to give back to the game. And my playing career impacts myself the most, but coaching, I can have a reach and get to have a positive impact on thousands of kids.
Another superhero in the crowd tonight, and there are plenty of them. KeyBank Center as the Bandits celebrate Superhero Night. Guardians of the Galaxy. International Women's Day, might I add, as well. Hope you're enjoying our broadcast this evening. Score being tied at 5. Back and forth we go. The only time Saskatchewan led was just back at the 11:52 mark, and then both teams have answered back and forth. And the game leaders right now, we see the best 1-2 punch for Saskatchewan with Keenan and Church. Last week they had 16 points together, and they're building it tonight. Dane Smith with a couple of goals in the first half. Chiliano and Vince. Vince with 24 saves. Steve, I don't see any ill effect of number 48, Matt Vince, on the upper body injury he sustained in Halifax a couple of weeks ago.
No, if anything, I think he looks pretty fresh. He's made a couple real good saves. And the shots that beat him, the one that trickled through the wickets he'd like back, but otherwise, it's taken good shots to beat both of these goaltenders. Solid starts for both of them, and overall, John, it's a good game for both teams. Never more than one goal between these two teams.
Another draw win by Connor Farrell, acquired by the club on Thursday, signed a 2-year contract. His first NLL game.
Maybe an instance of the box game coming back a little bit. He wins the draw, but goes back to his defender. Buffalo charged with an over and back, so the Rush awarded the ball.
Church with the ball from the slot area, takes the shot, saved. Matt Vince, rebound, trickles into the corner, picked up by Saskatchewan. Wheeling it back, we have a player that's down. And slow in getting up, his play continues. A diving shot from behind the net. And it's held off, and Justin Martin, slow in getting up, finally makes his way over to the bench and will be attended to by Buffalo's medical staff.
Looks like he might have banged his knee against Zach Mans fighting for the loose ball, and a penalty coming up here to Buffalo. We'll get the call because this happened away from, I was watching Justin Martin on the ground.
Nick Weiss reluctantly.
Bandits filling number 22 minutes. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Turf.
So they're going to call, I think, a dead ball foul on Nick Weiss after the whistle. So a whole lot going on. Justin Martin collides with Zach Mans going for the loose ball, ends up on the turf. He's down the tunnel. Weiss called for, I believe, a dead ball foul. He'll be in the box for 2 minutes or less. Saskatchewan's challenging that this dunk attempt that came from behind the net might have gone over the goal line, as Vince came from left to right to try to take this away.
Kyle Cropman is the crew chief tonight. Josh Hiltz along with
Saskatchewan
Joe Furman.
The no goal call in the field. The previous plays under further review.
And now, John, I believe, and obviously this feels like it's a long way off, even if this goal counts, Weiss may still be in the box because this was deemed a dead ball foul. So if this foul occurred after the whistle, they could say or would say that the ball's in the net, that goal counts, and then the penalty takes effect. So a potential double whammy here for the Bandits. We'll see how this all plays out.
Joe Furman, the other referee tonight. Joe Smith working the shot clock, and Kyle Krupman down with the off-field officials to take a look at things.
So the dunk attempt came from behind the net. Matt Vince was against his left post and came flying over to the right post to try to take it away. And the official was right there on the edge of the crease to wave it off at the time.
Let's take a look here from the shot. He's got plenty of room from the dive. And where that ball bounces from that angle, we're not sure. Inconclusive evidence at the moment. Steve, your thoughts on this overhead?
This will be good. The overhead view will give us a better look as Vince comes across with his right arm. Ball shot. That looks like that's in the net, John.
That one's in.
That's going to be a goal. And now we will see if that penalty was in fact a dead ball foul. Normally a goal would wipe the penalty out. But because this penalty may have happened after the whistle, it is very possible that the Rush will have the lead and a power play coming out of this review.
And we just got a little bit of a clip there of Nick Weiss after that goal was being scored. And like Steve had said, whether or not the penalty will be issued on a dead ball. And watch Weiss, number 20, inside the crease area of Buffalo. And we'll see his extension and retaliation of such after the goal being scored.
So the penalty was unsportsmanlike on Weiss. That still could have been called after the play was blown dead. Weiss still sitting in the penalty box right now. The Bandits seem to realize they've been scored on as they set up for a face-off here.
Here's the call.
After review, the ball crosses the goal line prior to the shooter landing in the crease. Therefore, we have a good goal. The Buffalo penalty on the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, is washed by the goal.
So Weiss will be released. It was an unsportsmanlike conduct call. I apologize. I couldn't hear the official clearly when he made the call. Originally, I thought it was a dead ball foul. So Saskatchewan gets the lead. No power play here. The penalty was wiped out by the goal. What a great dunk there to beat Matt Vince to that near post, and it just hung up on Matt Vince's right shoulder and crossed the goal line.
So from one goal to another as Saskatchewan builds a 6-5 lead. Find if the Bandits can convert to tie it up again. From the far corner is Dane Smith electing to go over to McKay, setting a pick for Byrne. Elects to go back to Smith. Now to Cloutier. Cloutier with the ball. Taking the shot, save Chiliano. Rebound, jumps out in front.
Cloutier called for a loose ball push. He was desperate to try to get that rebound on his own shot. Shoved the defender down from behind. Loose ball push. Saskatchewan ball.
Now Saskatchewan down into the Buffalo zone from the far corner. Goes back to the top of the slot. Near side, Triolo is there. Looking over to the far side, Deakin, Keenan. Now Triolo with a shot, shoulder save. Vince, rebound, jumps out in front. Frank Brown is there and will bring the Bandits back out at center. Cam Wires using the turf to tip it over to Ian McKay. 6-5 Saskatchewan here in the third quarter. In over the restraining line is Josh Byrne. There's a drive by McKay that goes wide. Rebound picked up by the Rush. Isaac Enju will bring it right to the Buffalo restraining line. Intercepted by Buffalo's defense, and Ian McKay backing up. He'll get it back over Corey Highfield. Highfield playing defense tonight, but will remain on this shift to push players around to try to open up a lane for Buffalo. Dane Smith to Fraser. Fraser now to Cloutier. Cloutier into traffic. Goes to his opposite side. Swim move over the shoulder between the legs. He scores!
Oh my goodness, what a goal by Chris Cloutier. We got to rewind the tape a little bit, John. Ian McKay shoots the ball wide, and Saskatchewan coming back in transition. McKay gets on his horse and reverses transition and intercepted a pass that leads to this goal. Kluche, as you mentioned, looping all the way around, getting forced to his offside, shrugs off a check, finds himself in front of the net, jumps over the invisible hurdle in the slot, and through his own legs is able to score. The second goal we've seen Kluche score from in front of the net between his legs like that. And once again, John, tied up 6-6.
Chris Kluche with his second of the evening. 21st of the year, tied at 6 here in the third quarter. Shots on goal favoring Saskatchewan 30-25. In across the line from the Saskatchewan Rush. Leaving it back down into the far Buffalo corner, carried now to the slot area. Drive hard. That off the stick of Nathaniel Kozebnikov. That's blocked by Buffalo's defense. Countering back out at center. Weiss can't handle it. Scooped up. That by Bobby Kidd.
That shot was blocked, John, by Justin Martin. Good to see him back out there after he was a little banged up a couple minutes ago.
Amen. And across the line is Robert Church. Gets it into traffic. Low drive by Keenan wide. Rebound picked up by Buffalo, and now a mad dash down the right wing lane. Zach Belter is there, tipping it back now to Steve Priovo. Tandem on defense will retreat back over to the Buffalo bench, and a fire wagon change for the Bandits coming right back out with the big guns. Byrne with the ball from the top of the slot, leaving it back over to a dashing Dane Smith. Here's Smith with a drive. Shiliano got a piece of that one and goes all the way back down into Buffalo territory.
Dane Smith gets all alone with a great deke on top, and what a save by Shiliano to hold his ground. Falling down, able to keep that one out of the net.
Smith again, lead pass in front, intended for Nanakoke. Didn't make the connection of the loose ball picked up by Mike Messenger. He'll leave it off over to Jake Boudreau, who brings it to the line and inside the Buffalo zone. Hanging on to it now. Get everybody into position and leave it off now to Patrick Dodds. Dodds with the ball. Kozebnikov to Dodge with a shot and a score! What a bullet by Patrick Dodds, who earlier in the week, Derek Keenan said he tends to defer, and this time he said, nope, I'm going to shoot. And that's exactly what Keenan wants.
A quick little two-man game between Kozebnikov and Dodds, and Kozebnikov kind of gives a wash pick as he runs through the middle. He dumps it off to Dodds, and as Kozebnikov cuts in front of him, he takes a defender with him, and that defender kind of gets pushed down a little bit deeper, giving Dodds room to pick that corner. So a great two-man game between Kozebnikov and Dodds. Kozebnikov giving room to Dodds for him to sting the corner there. And Saskatchewan back up by one. For what, the 6th time in this game, they're in the lead by 1 goal.
Battle of the draw, won by Connor Farrell. He'll dash into the zone. He's got an opening, takes the shot, goes wide. Rebound, Buffalo. Ian McKay will slow things down. Quick change up now as Kluche comes out to help McKay. Crisscrossing together, McKay to a running Dane Smith. Smith takes the shot. Ciliano got a piece of that one. Rebound, Buffalo. Reset of the shot clock. Back behind the net is Buchanan. He's got time to move. Buchanan, a diving shot. Stopped by big Frank Ciliano. As I had mentioned, 6'3", 275 pounds, fills that net quite nicely. 31-28 in shots, Saskatchewan. They lead it 7-6. Third quarter action. Dodds with the ball. That goes to the far side. Played along the boards. Kept out at center. 9 seconds left on the shot clock for the Rush. High pass intended for Mans. He's got it. Makes the dive, but then loses control of it. And the ball is picked up by Buffalo. On the ground, here's Belter with a breakaway. Shiliano with the save.
Going to be a tripping call here on the Rush. Mans falls down, going for that loose ball. Solver picks it up, and as he tries to jet out in transition, he got tripped up.
So when we come back, we'll set things up. Rush with a 7-6 lead in this back and forth game. Ryan Keenan goes to the penalty box, so the Bandits on their second power play coming up, and let's take a look at it. What goes on there? A big collision.
So man swimming after the loose ball. Silver actually kind of knocked Keenan over with a little bit of a shoulder. And on his way trying to break out in transition, he was tied up. And hey, Zach Belter, the defender, with a chance on a breakaway. Didn't score, but now Buffalo's power play goes back to work. I believe 1 for 1 so far today, John.
Josh Byrne and Dane Smith involved with the first power play goal. And you had mentioned about Dane Smith, now 18 power play points. That leads the National Lacrosse League coming into this evening's 3 games, including Buffalo, as Smith brings the ball across the restraining line of Saskatchewan. Over to Byrne, who finds a running. There's a shot, score! Oh, Buchanan set up a beauty, and finishing it off on the power play is Byrne.
John, this is a beautiful play by Buffalo all around. Buchanan behind the net starts to come out front, and it kind of collapses a bunch of the rush defenders to his side of the net because they don't want to give him a look wide open out in front. And when that happens, he pops it out to Josh Byrne, who winds up like he's going to let a cannon go. And instead of shooting, he fakes. And he pulls it to a twister, goes back to his right side, and just kind of floats it into the corner. A quick little pop of the wrist over Chiliano's shoulder, and the Bandits wasting no time on that power play, just seconds into it. Tie the game up once again, this time at 7.
Mike Messenger winning the draw on that one will bring it down into the Buffalo zone and retain it, and tipping it over the far side. Shot on by Mann, save Vince, and it's picked up now by Dylan Robinson and rushed back out at center. One-handed pass over to Ian McKay, who will bring the troops across the restraining line of the rush. Byrne leaving it to Fraser. Now to Smith. In front, a shot, score! Buffalo!
On superhero night, Josh Byrne takes flight. Josh Byrne with a unbelievable athletic play. He takes off from the near side of the crease, and while floating in the air, catches this ball, twists his body around, and scores on Frank Chiliano. He had to be in the air for 2 seconds on this play. What a catch and shoot by Josh Byrne, airborne, flying over the crease. And Buffalo has the lead back for the first time since this game was 1-0.
Back-to-back goals by Josh Byrne and a hat trick, so that makes 8 hat tricks for Byrne this year. And a big smile for Josh Byrne on the Buffalo bench, and rightfully so. Getting the boys back in tune and taking the lead of this game. 31 shots for Buffalo, 32 for Saskatchewan. And we focus in on the draw again. Newly acquired Connor Farrell winning it this time. And he'll dash with the ball and leaving it across the line as he goes. Farrell with a shot. And Chiliano got a piece of that one over the glass and into the crowd.
John, do you think this crowd wants him to score? They're so excited. He's running down the field and you feel the crowd swell. They want him to get one with all the faceoffs he's winning. They're very excited to have a faceoff guy.
Bandits defense getting in position as the ball comes across the Buffalo restraining line. Saskatchewan from the top of the slot, leaving it to Dodds. There's a front shot by Church. He scores. Talk about excellent ball movement. And Saskatchewan returns the favor, tying the game at 8.
And what a quick response for the rush here. The building's buzzing as Byrne ties it up with an amazing goal. And that time, you have Dodds connecting with Church. Church kind of finds himself wide open in the middle. The Bandits get spread out a little bit, chasing after Dodds with the ball as he kind of worked his way toward the crease. Good vision there to pop it out front to Church, and Church left one-on-one with Matt Vince. Cashes in, tied up again, 8-8.
Hat trick for Robert Church so far in this game with an assist, so that's 4 total points. Draw 1 by Connor Farrell. and 72 points so far for Robert Church in his illustrious career with this franchise. There's a shot carried on by Dodds. Rebound jumps off from Matt Vince, cleared out by Buffalo's defense, and here's a break for the Bandits. Charging in is Nick Weiss, leaves it to Dane Smith. Tried a feather pass over to Weiss, but it trickles into the far Saskatchewan corner. And despite the forechecking by Buffalo, the ball is cleared out by the Rush. Tied at 8. Good check along the way out at center by Dane Smith, doing his job defensively, poking the ball down into the corner. Corey Highfield tries to get it, backed up by Dalton Silver, and now carried out by Buffalo down the right wing lane is Dane Smith. 2 goals tonight for the great Dane. Finding an opening over to Fraser, over the shoulder shot. Chiliano with the save. The rebound picked up by Buffalo, and the reset of the shot clock. What a shot by Fraser. That hit, much heat he had on that ball.
That hit the inside of the far post and came to the near side. That almost found the back of the net.
Byrne twirling into traffic as it goes. Back over to Smith, now to Byrne. Byrne into the far corner to Fraser. Couldn't get in the webbing of his stick, and it goes back out at center and crossing the over and back charge, and picked up immediately by the Rush. And they'll dash in with a shot. Vince making the save. And the veteran goaltender will leave it back out at center for Dylan Robinson. Robinson now over to Ian McKay, pushing across the restraining line of the Rush. Good check by Nanakok, pushing the player out of the way, and then the ball is zipped into center. Nobody there to accept it except the Rush, and they'll bring it back out to center. And now a mad dash crossing the Buffalo restraining line off the stride of Connor McClellan. Deking now is Triolo. Church with the shot. Just wide of the Buffalo net. Rebound. Well, actually, Vince got a piece of that one, so reset the shot clock. And point blank shot by Saskatchewan, finding Vince coming up large. And that one off the stick of Zach Mans.
Vince having a run of saves here. He had 2 in a row prior, 2 on this possession. Back-to-back saves for Vince on back-to-back possessions.
8-8 to score here in the third. Buffalo down in the Saskatchewan zone. Buchanan tipping it back over to Cloutier. Cloutier to the near side to Byrne. Byrne back over to Smith with a shot. And Chiliano has to scissor up to make the save, and cleared out by Saskatchewan. 5:34 remaining here in the third quarter. Score is tied at 8. And Saskatchewan mounts another attack down into the Buffalo zone, led by Triolo. Into traffic. That shot, score! Keenan. And the Rush take a 1-goal lead, 9-8.
What a strong effort here by Keenan to shrug off the check of 2 Bandits. He gets squished between Highfield and Weiss, keeps possession of the ball, gets to the wrong side of the net, and is still able to beat Matt Vince. Trickles in just inside the post. But that's a Herculean effort from Ryan Keenan to shrug off 2 defenders checking him at the same time. And for the 9th time, 8th time, the Rush take the lead. And hey, if the script has anything to say, the Bandits will tie it up in about a minute here.
Hat trick tonight for Ryan Keenan. He's got 4 assists, 7 points. So the 1-2 punch for Saskatchewan with Church and Keenan. Now 11 points between the two. Buffalo with the ball. Refreshing to see the resets for Buffalo on the offense side to get some rhythm. And across the line is Smith, now to McKay with a drive. He scores!
Right on cue, the Bandits respond. We are tied up at 9. John McKay's having a nice day out the front door for the Bandits. He likes playing offense, relieved of the face-off duties. I think he's relieved that he's not at the dot and having to play defense and offense and transition. He had a couple of assists there in the first half, I think 3, and now he's able to join the scoring sheet, able to pick his spot over the right shoulder of Frank Chiliano. McKay with a dart into the corner. Tied back up with 5 minutes to play in quarter number 3.
So for Ian McKay, first goal of the night with 3 assists. How about Dane Smith racking up the points tonight? 2 goals, 4 assists so far in this game. 4:51 left to play, third quarter. 9-9 the score. from the far Buffalo corner, picked up by Steve Frioldo. He rushes back out at center. Lead pass for Dylan Robinson, couldn't get it, and Chiliano is there for the rush. And the big netminder will outlet the pass down the left wing lane over for Mike Messenger. One of the members with 3 rings. Dodds is there from the left wing side, comes in close, one arms the pass out in front to Church. Dekes away at the pressure, and the ball is left for Dodds again. He scores.
Another
deferring tonight for Patrick Dodds.
Another 2-man game between Dodds and Church. I'm looking at Justin Martin, who's down again for the second time, banged up. But a great job by the rush. They keep driving down toward the crease, moving with the ball, and every single time the defense collapses on it, and they keep popping it back out to a shooter who has room to kind of pick a spot. And Dodds able to catch and shoot on the run. Despite Cam Wires being there, the Bandits defense doing their best to rotate with the rush forwards. And worth noting here is this time Justin Martin still down. Last time he got up, went down the tunnel, and we saw him come back. This time still being attended to by the Bandits training staff.
Holds up things up here at KeyBank Center. Everybody takes a collective breath as we've seen a lot of goals being scored tonight. 19 so far, and the Rush now with a 10-9 lead as the medical staff continue to work on Justin Martin. Gives us a chance to remind folks you still have time to go online if you'd like. For the Bandits 50-50, you go to bandits.5050raffle.org. And Justin Martin on his own steam, making his way to the Buffalo bench.
And as we mentioned, the second time he's exited the game with a leg or knee or something. So we saw him come back and block a shot a few shifts later last time. We'll see how he does this time. But more importantly, not more importantly, but the Rush gaining that lead again.
It's Connor Farrell again with a shot. Sorry, Steve.
No, I
wanted to get that shot away for Farrell. He got it away and then got a little involved in a muck. But it's picked up by the Rush and cleared back out. Dane Smith, 2 goals, 4 assists. Josh Byrne, 3 goals, 2 assists. And the storyline right now is Patrick Dodds teaming up with Church and Keenan. And taking 1-goal lead, 10-9. Dodds one-arms the play, back over to Church. His shot went askew, picked up by Buffalo, and Ian McKay pulling a defensive shift will push it out of his own zone. And we'll set things up for Josh Byrne. Looking for 4 on the night with Dehoka Nanakok. On with Fraser's there, takes the shot, he scores! Give that to Nanakok.
Ball comes across the crease. A great job by Nanakok to catch this ball. And then with the defender in his pocket, he's able to do a full twist 360, and as he's going down to the crease, he's going down to the ground, he's able to just shuffle this ball into the net. Far side on Chiliano, our near side, but far side to where Nanakok is set up. Look at the spin move as he bull rushes his way to the crease, and he's able to put that ball cleanly in the net, it appeared, before he came down in the turf. And Nanakok ties this game up at 10.
Second of the night for Dehoka Nanakok, who opened the scoring of tonight's game. And Buffalo with that draw. Connor Farrell will set it up now for the Bandits crossing the restraining line. Chase Fraser with the ball from the far corner, leaves it to the top of the slot to Josh Byrne. Byrne deking his way in, faking that shot, letting it back over to Smith. Smith now, play is busted up, but Smith gets it back to Byrne with a shot. He's stone cold by Chiliano.
It's a great save by Chiliano. Also worth noting, Dehoka Nanakok went down the tunnel after the goal. I think it was an equipment issue. Looks like he's back on the bench now.
Buffalo gets the ball back and the fresh 30. Hang on now. It'll be a break here in the action. 2:25 remaining in this third quarter. Score is tied at 10. Hey, you want highlights, behind-the-scenes content? How about the latest news? You can select NLL.com, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, X, YouTube, you name it. Stay current with the scores and in-depth articles. You can go to NLL.com. Make your selection. Dave Buchanan, very, very, very busy tonight. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. He's got it covered.
Was checking out the reaction to that Josh Byrne goal on X, man. People are loving that, calling that for SportsCenter top 10.
Good deal.
And it came right after Kluche's highlight reel goal. Kluche in the slot through his own legs with an incredible goal. And then Josh Byrne takes off and scores a catch and shoot while airborne, flying through the crease. Incredible.
Keenan with 3 goals, 4 assists. Dodds with a goal and 4 assists. Robert Church with 3 goals and an assist. And Nathaniel Kozebnikov with 3 assists, former Buffalo Bandit. Glad to see he's getting a chance to play. And even Keenan said, I got to get him in more.
Yeah, he plays a lot off ball in this offense, but he talked about how good he is with the ball, that he needs it in his stick more. And John, he's a great point producer in the summer games, playing out west. He's racked up a ton of points playing summer ball out west, and you know, just kind of got to wait his turn maybe in this offense with some of the high-powered players around him. But Keenan recognizes the talent Nathaniel Kozebnikov has.
Nanakoke leaves it over for Josh Byrne. Byrne to Smith. Or check that, Fraser. Fraser to Smith. Hanging onto the ball, feed pass. Fraser with a shot. Tried to get over the shoulder of Chiliano. Rebound goes into the far corner. Kicked by Fraser. Left now by Saskatchewan as Fraser went in and out of the crease area. 10-10 the score. Time ticking down in this third quarter with 1:22. And Saskatchewan in across the line. Kozebnikov, he scores! You must be a prophet tonight, Steve, talking about Nathaniel Kozebnikov. And he gives the Rush an 11-10 lead.
Another 1-goal lead for the Rush, this time on the back of a Kozebnikov shot. And you see Triolo setting a pick there. He ducks down. He gives him an opportunity to shoot over him. As Triolo setting the high pick for him to wrap around and shoot, Triolo says, wait a minute, I'm 6'8", I got to get down a little bit here. And he shoots it right over the back of Triolo as he squats down and picks the corner. That's a great shot from Kozebnikov, an elite shot to score into the corner from there. And as we've seen about 100 times today, the Rush take a 1-goal lead. We'll see if Buffalo responds or if Saskatchewan will get their first 2-goal lead of the game.
Connor Farrell winning the draw, getting Buffalo down into position of the Rush zone. Over the line is Josh Byrne, tipping it now over to Ian McKay. McKay looking for a lane, takes the shot, shoulder save. Chiliano, rebound, jumps down on the ground and finally picked up by the Rush. Good pressure on by Buffalo, and that's led by Josh Byrne. Good pass down into the Buffalo zone, led by Zach Bands. He tried to go behind the back, low side. Stopped by Buffalo's defense. Good positioning for Nick Weiss, and the ball was pushed back out at center. 25 seconds left to play into the third quarter. 11-10. Rush. Pass out in front is Kluche, scores! Wow, between the legs, 4 over the shoulder, back behind the back.
The Bandits checking off a laundry list of highlight reel goals. Byrne feeds it down to Kluche. He starts backing his defender down, and he kind of fakes a turn to the forehand right there and makes everyone kind of think he's going to come around and shoot forehand, and instead he twists back around and goes behind the back inside the near post. A little bit of twist and shout from Chris Kluche in front of the net. And once again, we are tied up, this time at 11. And I believe since 0-0, this has to be the 11th time that this game has been tied, because no team has had a 2-goal lead at any point.
That trick for Chris Kluche, now 12 goals in his last 6 games. And Kluche's got the ball again inside the Rush zone. Smith tried to feed it over to McKay, but no time left. What a game we have. Tied at 11 going into the fourth quarter.
Get game day ready and shop your favorite team's jerseys and merchandise. Head to NLLshop.com to get all your National Lacrosse League and team gear today.
A lot of team gear tonight here at KeyBank Center. Everybody wearing their Buffalo colors and some wearing the Guardians of the Galaxy. And there's a big one there in Connor Farrell. Interesting to note, Steve, on goals for, goals against for this club, these two clubs going into the fourth quarter of play.
Yeah, with the teams tied up here at 11. Goal differential in the fourth quarter. Saskatchewan +9, Buffalo +1. But Buffalo with 38 fourth quarter goals. That's 8 more than Saskatchewan has on the year in the fourth quarter. We are set up for a great finish here in Buffalo.
How about the draw controlled by Farrell again? He'll shut it down before the restraining line inside the rush zone. Passes it back over to Josh Byrne. Byrne now to Dane Smith. Dashing in with a nice deke. Still hangs on to it. Leaves it out to Nanticoke. Nanticoke with a shot. Look for the twister. Gets his own rebound. Back behind the net. Went for a dive. Nothing doing there. And the score tied at 11. It's Saskatchewan's turn. Safe to say, Steve, that the last goal wins?
Definitely feels that way. We've never seen more than a 1-goal lead. Fans wanting a too many men call there on Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Dodds just snuck in from the bench area. Now it's picked up by Mans, who will leave it back over from the top of the slot, near side. There's a drive on. Church scores. No pews left. Church is in session, and he's having a great game tonight.
The Rush moving the ball around on the outside here before they go from left side to right side, and Church able to catch and shoot. And Belter looks like he's there in position to take the shot away, but just a split second too late as Church able to quick stick that one into the net. And Saskatchewan back up 1 early, less than 1 minute here into the fourth quarter.
With the 12-11 lead, Robert Church now with 4 goals on the night. From the draw, scooped up by Saskatchewan inside the Buffalo zone. Twirling from the corner is Bobby Kidd. He'll hang on to it and wait for Jimmy Quinlan to get the number sorted out for the offense as it's carried across the line by Ryan Keenan. Keenan now with a nifty area to move, leaving it over to Triolo. Now back over to Keenan. Keenan with a shot, save. Matt Vince rebound, jumps out in front, and Vince double on that. And now Buffalo with the break as Dane Smith gets the ball at center, comes across the line, leaving it over for Tace Fraser. Fraser from the left side in the Saskatchewan zone. Far side pass back over to Nanticoke, takes a bump, manages to get a pass over to Josh Byrne. Byrne now swimming his way inside the rush zone, takes the shot, rebound, score! Nanticoke.
The Helga Nanticoke shrugs off the check, as you mentioned. He gets bumped, and he flips the ball to Josh Byrne, and after he gives the ball to Byrne, he runs all the way around behind the net, and that's how he gets open, and Byrne sees it, winds up as if it's a shot, feeds it to Nanticoke, who's all alone out front. That's just a great hustle play by Nanticoke. This isn't a design play, right? It's broken as Nanticoke is taking a check and gets rid of the ball to Byrne, but the motor on Nanticoke to run all the way behind the net like that, pop out front, find himself one-on-one with the goaltender and bury it. Tied once again, this time at 12.
Nanticoke with a hat trick so far in this game tonight. fueling Buffalo's offense. Steve, we had talked about that earlier, about the Buffalo's offense earlier in the day, of how much they need to rely on secondary scoring, and looks like they're getting it tonight. And there's another shot on goal, especially from Nanticoke. Yeah, I mean, you would expect anywhere from 3 to 4 goals a game.
Sure, Byrne and Smith have been great. Buchanan's been scoring lately, but you need that secondary supplemental scoring, and Nanticoke has been giving them some tonight.
Okay, getting a shot on. Chiliano quick to the save, and will get it back out of his own zone with the outlet pass. Leaving it for Ryan Barnable. Ball intercepted by Buffalo. Frank Brown tipping it down to a running Dane Smith. Here's Smith with a shot. Chiliano with a save. Brown couldn't scoop it up, and ball is returned by the Rush. Back and forth we go. Score tied at 12. Near side pass over to Ryan Keenan. Keenan now hanging on to the ball, getting everybody into position. Triolo is there with a twirl, takes the shot, saved by Matt Vince. Rebound, Steve Triolo, tipping it over to a running Nick Weiss. Weiss in over the line with Nanticoke shooting the ball. Chiliano got a piece of that one. Rebound Fraser from the near boards inside the Saskatchewan zone. There's a shot by Fraser hitting the end board. Save the over and back charge. Bandits continue on the rush down in the Saskatchewan zone. An errant pass forcing Byrne to come out at center. Left wing pass over to Nanticoke. Nanticoke in the corner for Buchanan. Ball is threaded there, and now we got a pushing and shove match erupting as the ball goes wide. Stick still getting up with respective clubs there with Chase Fraser along with Hogan Garlett. And finally the whistle blows. Here we got two guys that are battling against each other. Play continues to the near side, and finally the referees say, okay, wait a minute. Let's get this all sorted out.
And Hogan got knocked over as well in the scrum. Fraser headed to the box, kicking his helmet. I think he's frustrated that he might be the only one getting a call here. Maybe not. Looks like they're both going to sit. We'll see if we play 4 aside once we get the call from the official.
Buffalo penalty, 2 minutes, dead ball foul. Saskatchewan penalty, 2 minutes, dead ball foul. Saskatchewan penalty, 2 minutes, face mask. It's going to be 5-on-4.
So the Bandits end up with a power play here. Meanwhile, the fans were chanting some not nice things to the official, but the Bandits end up with a power play. So maybe they have to change their minds on that one. So the dead ball foul as they kind of muck it up a little bit, but the extra 2 minutes given to Garland for the face mask as he grabbed Chase Fraser's helmet and took it off his head. Maybe that's why Fraser booted it across the floor. But the Bandits power play back to work. 2 for 2 so far, I believe. It was Byrne to Dane Smith the first time and Dane Smith to Byrne the second time.
You are correct, sir.
And they both happened very early in the power play. And we'll see if Buffalo can use this power play to take a lead.
24 goals scored so far in this game, 12-12. Byrne top of the slot, quarterbacking the power play. Leaves it back over to Kluche with a shot. Chiliano makes the save.
That was scooped up outside of the crease by Ryan Barnable, and he landed back in the crease. So that's a violation, and Buffalo goes right back to work.
Reset of the shot clock as well. Byrne slot area now back over to Smith. Smith far side, quick stick shot, save, Chiliano. Good checking, however, the ball picked up by Mike Messenger, and he'll travel right to the Buffalo restraining line. He's a big one as well. He'll leave it off now to his forwards down into the Buffalo zone and a penalty kill team.
And Boudreau was tied up there, and he saw Messenger out in front of him, and he booted the ball on purpose. A great heads-up play to kick that up to Messenger and get the ball out of his own zone.
Saskatchewan leads the league with 9 shorthanded goals, and there is an attempt. Ball along the boards. Triolo is there. Hang on. Technical foul.
A shot clock violation because that shot went wide. Only a couple seconds left when they tried to reset the shot clock. So now Buffalo's power play still with 51 seconds to work with.
Byrne along with Smith. 1-2 punch on this man advantage. Now Smith from Byrne. Smith with a nice move. Scores! What a night for the Great Dane.
Dane Smith gets a great backside pick here from Kyle Buchanan that allows him to get one-on-one with Chiliano. As he catches this pass, Buchanan sneaks in and is able to just get a little bit of Barnable. And that allows Dane Smith to cut in on goal. And he fakes high and then goes low to low. We've seen Dane Smith score low to low 3 times today. And he tried it on that breakaway when Frank Brown sprung him out. So definitely that's the shot that Dane Smith has been opting for, has been the low to low shot. And it worked again there for the Bandits.
Hat trick tonight for Dane Smith as Farrell gets it back over to Buchanan inside the Saskatchewan zone. 13-12 Buffalo here in the 4th. Buchanan couldn't tame the ball in the webbing of his stick. He's backed up by Dane Smith. Put a lot of minutes tonight for the Bandits. Top of the slot, low drive. Chiliano with a save. Rebound is McKay over the head of Chiliano.
It's going to be the Bandits' ball here for an illegal pick or a loose ball push, rather.
49-43 in shots favoring Buffalo. They've got the 1-goal lead.
Welcome back to Buffalo. Bandits lead the rush 13-10 with 9:30 to go in regulation. Earlier today, before tonight's game, the Buffalo Junior Bandits under-13 team was honored as they won their division tournament championship at the NLL Junior Tournament last summer in Oakville, Ontario. It was the first ever championship for the Junior Bandits program. That team was coached by Brandon Robinson of the Bandits and Ethan O'Connor, who now plays for the Rochester Nighthawks. And every player, guys, got a championship ring, which was an unexpected surprise for the players. So very cool. The big Bandits got rings, and the Junior Bandits got rings.
Big night for the Junior Bandits. Exciting for those rings and being out on the turf here at KeyBank Center. Dane Smith with the ball, shooting it high. Hit the end boards, picked up by Josh Byrne. Byrne, far side pass over to a deking Cloutier, who finds an opening to Smith. Tried to thread the needle to Byrne, but it's picked up by Saskatchewan's defense and cleared back out at center and crossing the Buffalo restraining line. A penalty coming up. And this one will go against Buffalo.
It's going to be an illegal cross check. Let's see who they're tagging with it.
Pointing over to the bench, the two, Josh Byrne and Garlent, released from the box, and now reluctantly to the penalty box, Nanakuk. 3 goals, 1 assist so far for number 1.
Number 1, 2 minutes illegal cross check.
So it had to happen behind the play, John, as this ball was getting broken out in transition.
Second power play opportunity of the night for Saskatchewan. Went 0 for 2 last week in Colorado in their big 15-7 win. Keenan quarterbacks along with Zach Mans. Far side pass to Church. Now back to Keenan, back behind the net. Now to Mans with a drive. That's blocked by Buffalo's defense. And a great foot race with the captain, Steve Priolo, all the way back down into Saskatchewan territory. Keenan starts up the play again. Low drive. That by Patrick Dodds. Big save by Matt Vince. Rebound pushed along the far Buffalo corner.
Calling another penalty on Buffalo here for this hit in the corner.
For what? Hitting too hard or what?
Much to the chagrin of the fans here, Buffalo will be 2 men down. I think it's going to be Weiss going to the box here.
Buffalo penalty number 20, 2 minutes, illegal body check.
Well, that's interesting.
Belter and Weiss in the corner
again,
battling for the loose ball. I mean, Weiss might have left his feet going for the hit, but it looked like he kind of missed. Not sure he made good contact there. And it was a far referee on the near side calling it. So now Saskatchewan goes to work, 2-man advantage.
Top of the slot shot, saved by Matt Vince. Rebound is Keenan, scoots over into the far Buffalo corner. Saskatchewan regroups. Buffalo leading it 13-12, but a two-man advantage for the Rush. Mans back over to Keenan. Keenan very quickly to Dodds from the far corner. In pursuit is McKay. Left over to Mans. Back over to Dodds. He couldn't hang on to it. Church is there, retains it, back over to Dodds. Here's Dodds with a shot. Shoulder save. Matt Vince. Rebound trickles into the near Buffalo corner, and it's picked up by Ian McKay, and he'll rush down the left wing lane.
Through the crease by the Rush. What an effort by Ian McKay. He's playing out the front door today. Now they have him playing on a 5-on-3 penalty kill, and his hustle and effort gets Buffalo the ball, and the through the crease call awards Buffalo possession on violation. And now they'll try to milk the clock. Just 18 seconds left on the penalty to Nanticoke.
Buffalo second overall in the league of shorthanded goals with 7. An attempt there. As time ticks down to the respective penalties. 5 seconds left in the call to Dehoka Nanticoke. 44 seconds left into Nick Weiss's call. 13-12 Buffalo. Rush with the ball. Mans top of the slot, leaving it over to the far side to Church. Band on the shot. Rebound jumps out in front. Scramble for the ball, finding the Rush winning the confrontation.
That's a shot clock violation. John Dehoka was on the penalty kill out of the box. He blocked that shot, and now he has the ball. So what an effort from a forward coming out of the box on the penalty kill, blocking a shot, forcing the 30-second violation.
Now 5 seconds left in the call to Nick Weiss. 49-46 and shots favoring Buffalo, leading it 13-12. There's a low drive blocked by Shiliano, picked up by the Rush. And now cleared out with Mike Messenger coming to the face-off dot at center, and will fire it inside the Buffalo zone to the far side. Clearing from the top of the slot now to the near side, leaving it back over to Mans. He takes the shot just over the right side of Matt Vince. Rebound with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. They score! What a great second effort for the Rush. And it's Robert Church again.
Not much time left in the shot clock. The first shot goes wide, and Church comes up with the rebound. And he decides to just kind of drive the net here. A little bit of a fake, drives the net, jumps, and puts that high to low while he jumped up in the air. And we are tied up again, this time at 13. Still have yet to have a team with a 2-goal lead. 5:41 to play in regulation. The Bandits do a great job killing that 2-man advantage for the Rush, but as soon as we go back to 5-on-5, the first possession the Rush have, they score a goal. And we're still set up for one heck of a finish here in Buffalo.
5-goal performance tonight for Robert Church to tie this game up at 13 from the draw. Saskatchewan immediately down into the Buffalo zone to the far side. Defense is set up now with Ian McKay as Dodds receives the ball, runs behind the Buffalo net. From the far corner, back to Keenan, now to Zach Mans. Mans deking his way with a shot whistling wide. Rebound, Mans on his own. Leaving it Triola with a swim move, taking the shot. That goes wide. No time left on the shot clock, and here comes Buffalo. Led by the Bandits captain, Steve Priola. Pushing and shoving, allowing some room for Smith. Here's Smith with that shot. Trying to go over the shoulder of Shiliano. Rebound, Josh Byrne from the far Rush corner. He'll run over to the top of the slot. He's got Buchanan with him, as well as Kluche. Kluche with a twirl and a swing move into traffic. Now back over to Byrne from Smith. That's blocked by the Rush's defense and cleared back out at center, and here they come. Getting into position as Triola crosses the line, leaves it into the far corner. Quick stick shot, man, saved by Matt Vince. Stacked them up on that one.
The double pad stack from Matt Vince on the quick stick. Able to lay out, make the save, and the ball just sat in front of him. No rebound, so Buffalo scoops it up.
13-13 with 4:12 left to play in regulation. Byrne leaving the ball back to Buchanan, top of the slot, now back over to Byrne. Byrne skirts out from the corner, takes the shot. That's blocked into traffic. I think that went off Nanticoke as well. And now Weiss has to come back into his zone from the far corner. Make a long pass right back down into the Saskatchewan corner, and that stops things with 3 minutes 51 seconds left to play in regulation. Score tied at 13. How about the turning point of the game? We'll leave the offense out. How about Buffalo's newest player, Connor Farrell? Steve with some impressive numbers.
Yeah, 25 of 30 from the dot for Connor Farrell. What a turnaround from a few weeks ago in Halifax when Buffalo was shut out at the dot. And the fans here have been super excited when he's come up with the ball. They want him to score. He had a couple of good looks, a couple of breakaways off the faceoffs. Didn't score a goal, but the excitement is palpable with him winning these faceoffs here in Buffalo.
They call him the milkman, Connor Farrell. Don't get confused with the fact that he's wearing number 53, which is Dustin Robinson's number. Wasn't enough jerseys to go around with the superhero jersey, so he took over on 53. Find out what his newest number will be. That coming up next week in the Bandits game against Toronto. But right now, 13-13 and knocking on the door. The rush down into the Bandits zone. Ball carried by Keenan now. Leaves it down into the near corner, set up by Mans. Mans to Dodd. Now to Triolo with a shot. Big save by Matt Vince. Rebound picked up by the Bandits. And here they come back out at center. Carried off the stride of one Steve Priolo. 3:20 left to play in the regulation. Score tied at 13. Smith at the restraining line of Saskatchewan. Down over to Josh Byrne. Byrne with a drive. Shiliano getting the save. Nanticoke is double teamed on the play. That should have been an illegal body check, but play continues now back out at center. Nanticoke picks himself back up and goes to the Buffalo bench. As the rush now attack inside the zone. That's tipped along the near boards. Battled for Buffalo. The trio of defenders are down there just with two Saskatchewan players. And great play by Wires, who gets it back over and leaves it out now. Back over to Dane Smith. Smith deking with the ball, getting close to Shiliano. Tried to get it back over to Fraser, but can't do it. And it's an over and back charge. And now the ball picked up immediately by the rush. Good check off the stride of Ian McKay, but that might be an illegal body check too.
I think they're saying they're awarding the rush possession for the over and back instead of giving it to him on the fly because Fraser was too close to the ball. The referee was kind of pointing that it was the Rush's ball before that scrum even happened.
Here come the Rush with a shot straight on. Beautiful play. Keenan tried to get it right at the doorstep of Matt Vince, but now Buffalo counters. 2:10 remaining in regulation. Steve Priolo carries the ball across the line, leaving it for Cloutier. Now a rebound shot by Josh Byrne. That's picked up by the Rush, and it's their turn back out at center.
Both goaltenders making very big saves here down the stretch, keeping this game tied.
Shots even at 50. Score tied at 13. 150 and counting in regulation. As it ticks away, top of the slot is Zach Mans. Priolo tipping it down to the far side to Dodds. Now to Mans. Mans with the ball, looking for some room. Tips it back over to Triolo with a shot saved by Matt Vince. Read that one beautifully. And he makes the outlet pass down the left wing lane over to Dane Smith. 1:27 and counting left in regulation. Buffalo attacking down into the Saskatchewan zone. Nanticoke with 3, looking for 4. Leaves it back for Ryan Byrne with a shot. He scores! Flight time will be limited. There'll be no service, but it's definitely a goal.
They're going to look at it, John, because we're in the last 2 minutes here. Dane Smith playing both sides of the ball as he has been a lot lately. He plays a defensive shift, and he gives the ball up to Nanticoke and goes to the bench. And the reason I say that's kind of important is Smith is usually the guy driving the offense. He's usually the guy that's feeding the ball. Nanticoke takes the ball out of the restraining line, drives down towards the crease, looks across the formation, sees Josh Byrne cutting to the net. Byrne able to catch, jump up in the air, and tuck the ball in behind Chiliano, and the Bandits with a 1-goal lead, 1:17 to play. Assuming this goal stands, which it looks like it would. So we'll have to get confirmation on the goal. But it looks like Byrne never stepped in the crease until after this ball goes into the net.
Kyle Krupman, the crew chief tonight, will be taking a look at things with the off-field officials step by step. But I'll tell you what, the flight plan that was filed by Byrne looks pretty good. He's got wheels up well outside the goal line area. Unless they're going to be picky with a little bit of whiteness shaded with those purple shoes. And we'll see at the moment whether or not the play will stand. And Buffalo the go-ahead goal with 1:17 remaining in regulation.
I think the question is going to be his left foot before he takes off. And I don't know that we have an angle that shows his left foot in the crease. Even that, you see his left foot step down, but then his body comes over the top of it. Looks like we have a decision made.
See what the call is by Kyle Krupman, the crew chief of tonight's game.
The call on the field is confirmed. We have a good goal.
And the loudest pop of the crowd that we've had thus far. 1:17 to go. And John, you want to talk about the importance of faceoffs. A draw at a time like this is humongous. And it is one.
Picked up by Saskatchewan, and they get right back down in the zone. Low drive save by Matt Vince. Rebound Buffalo. Dylan Robinson is there, tipping it now over for Dane Smith. Smith just outside the restraining line of Saskatchewan. 57 seconds remaining in regulation. Buffalo by 1, 14-13, looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. Smith elects to go back over to Byrne. A little bit of time management as well. Watching the shot clock. Here's Byrne back behind the net. Nanakuk has to play it off his stick and get it back. He's checked heavily, but will hang on to it. Double teamed on the play as the slashing continues. And looks like Saskatchewan will have it because of the shot clock running out.
Shot clock violation, which Buffalo's fine with. Everybody was heading off the floor with 5 seconds to go in the shot clock, except Nanakuk, who was taking as much time off the clock as he should. As soon as the 30-second violation happens, the Rush take their timeout. Chiliano will no doubt stay on the bench. We'll have a 6-on-5 set with 36 seconds to play.
Hey, amazing to note, Steve, from 2015 to 2023, these two teams have played in every final.
That's an amazing stat.
2015, Saskatchewan, 16, Buffalo losing to Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan losing in 2017, but winning in 18. Buffalo losing to Calgary in 19, and then 22 and 23 against Colorado. Both teams, all of the finals.
That's an impressive run. And it's interesting because you were talking to Coach Keenan about some of the similarities between the Bandits run now and what Edmonton/Saskatchewan had in the teens, right? That the teams looked similar and the success was similar. But now, speaking of similar success, will the Rush have success with this 6-on-5 set, or will the Bandits come up with the ball and try to deposit it into the empty net?
Robert Church with 5 goals, 2 assists. Ryan Keenan, 3 goals, 4 assists. Dodds with 2 goals, 4 assists. Walter with a goal and 4. Zepnikov with a goal and 3. And here we go, folks. Crossing the restraining line of Buffalo. A powerful team. Score! Robert Church. And a sock trick for the veteran.
The Rush wasting no time with this 6-on-5 set. Church able to beat his man with a quick move, and we've seen this a couple of times, just kind of left one-on-one in this jump shot where Church kind of leaves his feet, and this time he shoots high to high over Matt Vince. We're going to have a look at this, but no reason why this shouldn't be a goal, as no Rush players were anywhere near the crease. And beyond the formality of the review, we are tied at 14 with 30 seconds to go. And now, John, Connor Farrell, if he wins this draw, I fully expect Buffalo to take their timeout because they will be able to turn off the shot clock. Whether they opt to go 6-on-5, we'll see, because they will be a tie game, so you don't want to risk an empty net goal. Down to the wire, this game, you said last goal would win, John, and it certainly looks like that's going to be the case, as we've never seen a 2-goal lead in this lacrosse game.
Setting the stage for the respective clubs. Saskatchewan will be home next Saturday, March 16th. Here's a call.
The field is confirmed. Good goal.
Against the New York Riptide, Buffalo remains at home and will face Toronto. 7 o'clock time on Saturday, a celebration of St. Patrick's Day. And yes, they will wear their very popular St. Patrick's Day uniforms. Ball won by Buffalo. And you're right, Steve, a timeout call with 26.9 seconds remaining in regulation. Tied at 14.
Maybe Dave can help us out, because I'm wondering, this is just a curiosity. Is Connor Farrell winning the draw and going timeout, timeout, timeout? Or is there something in place that says, if I win this face-off, I want timeout as soon as I have possession? I don't know.
What'd you hear, Dave? Anything?
For the timeout, guys. I think Connor was just focused on clamping on that draw, but definitely Steve Dietrich, John Tavares were yelling for the timeout. I think also half the other Bandits on the floor were as well.
They were probably yelling it before he even had possession of the ball. We'll see if they opt for a 6-on-5 set. They have last possession now. The shot clock is turned off as we have 26.9 to go. So what they can do is hold the ball for the first 19 seconds, run that 7-second play, and in theory give the Rush no time to go score on the empty net, even if they weren't to score. So Matt Vince is standing inside the back door with it open, and it looks like I see 6 Buffalo players coming out on the floor. They will run a 6-on-5 set.
Might as well. And I like the play that the Bandits employed last week in the closing seconds of the Vancouver game. We saw a little bit of that in the closing seconds of the first half tonight with a Bandit player behind the net. Nanticoke we see behind the net now. Buchanan near side. Smith is out there, along with the other big guns of Ian McKay and Chris Kluche. Here we go. 23 seconds remaining in regulation. 14-14 the score. Burns got the ball. He's got Smith with him at left. Down to the near side is Buchanan. And now the rotation will begin for the Bandits. Burn to Smith. Smith back over to Kluche with a shot. Shooting out of the save. Kluche with the rebound. Shots wide. Rebound Buchanan. Buchanan bidding it out in front, but time runs out, and we are going to overtime for the first time this season.
Couple of really good looks for the Bandits there. They found Kluche in a good spot to shoot, but I believe it was blocked. A solid defensive set for the Rush, and then the rebound resulted in another chance for Kluche, and he ends up 0 for 2 on the attempts to hit the game winner as time expired. And now we will head to sudden death overtime, and not to keep beating the drum, John, but a face-off win, huge on the first possession of overtime.
28 goals being scored. Here are some other numbers, Steve, of the game.
We keep talking about face-offs. Connor Farrell goes 26 of 32 thus far. The Bandits power play a perfect 3 for 3. The Saskatchewan Rush power play 0 for 3, even having a 2-man advantage. The Bandits managed to kill that off. And man, maybe the craziest stat, John, we never saw a 2-goal lead for either one of these teams. And as you called back in the second quarter, last goal will win this game.
Josh Byrne tonight, 4 goals, 6 assists. And man, was he hot tonight. And he might get the game winner as well. Good shots on goal, and especially the flight plan of late. And loves to score from the slot area, Steve. He's most effective in that slot area to beat a goaltender like Shiliano.
Well, he's so athletic, right? So he's able to get to the crease, get up in the air, and hang up there long enough that he can almost wait out the goaltender. Except that quick stick around the world, I don't even know what we could call it. That was just a freak of an athletic play for Byrne. And John, we have an attendance announced in Buffalo of 16,596.
Great night tonight, the celebration of the Marvel superheroes that went across the NLL and the collector's comic book that was designed, and specifically with a note on the Native American development of the game. And the kids loving it here tonight. Saskatchewan fans in attendance here at KeyBank Center, and the noise meter will start to come up. Again, Robert Church, 6 goals, 2 assists for the veteran. And most important, in a pressure game tonight for Connor Farrell, why not? Having success, it draws him to lead his club in overtime, and hopefully with the draw, as it's swept by Farrell, couldn't get the webbing of the stick together. He bats it free, and now double teamed, triple teamed on the play, but his big size will carry the ball as it's whacked away but picked up by Priolo. Priolo now tipping it over to McKay, who's just outside the restraining line of Saskatchewan. Leaves the ball on the floor for a running Chris Cloutier. Now over to Dane Smith. In overtime, tied at 14. Smith now to Cloutier. Cloutier to Byrne. Byrne scooting in. Goes to the slot area, shoots the ball, and Chiliano makes the save.
And more importantly, as I always say, more importantly, no rebounds. So the Rush able to scoop it up and get going the other way. The Bandits were swarming for a loose ball, but none to be found.
Rush back down into the Bandit zone. In overtime we go. Priolo now over to Church. Church looking. Elects to go back over to Keenan. Keenan to the far side. Shot on Church. Save by Matt Vince. Belter is there to help. And Vince will make the outlet pass all the way to center to Nick Weiss. And Weiss will bring the Bandits for the second set of overtime back down in the Saskatchewan zone. Byrne in over the line for the near side. He's got Cloutier with him along with Buchanan and Smith. Smith triggering the ball from the corner. Here's Byrne with a shot. Shutting on it with another save. And the ball is picked up by Saskatchewan. Loose ball out at center. Battled forward along the near boards. Picked up by Cloutier. Cloutier refuels.
Cloutier knew that ball. He had to get back in reverse transition as soon as that ball was shot, and he does a great job fighting for a loose ball and getting Buffalo another possession.
Fraser with the ball. Now back over to Smith. Smith to Fraser. Fraser from the slot area. Likes to go back over to Cloutier. Check that Byrne. Byrne has to tame it down on the ground. He's got it. He's tackled down onto the turf. No call on that one. And it's picked up by Saskatchewan. Smothered down to the turf, and Saskatchewan comes up with the ball. Bobby Kidd leaves it right at the restraining line of Buffalo. A left wing pass over to Patrick Dodds. Dodds inside the Buffalo zone. Scoots to the top of the slot. Leaves it out in front for a feather pass. Fakes the ball actually and leaves it now to the far corner. Scooting to the side with 5 to shoot. Rebound comes out in front. Oh, a shot by Dodds goes wide. Pushed along the boards. Weiss is in there along with Priolo trying to dig it free. It pops free, but it's picked up by Saskatchewan. That must have hit Vince because they did reset the shot clock, so they're back down into the Buffalo zone. Tied at 14 here in overtime. 12:05 remaining. Far side. Dodd setting up the play. Mans whips on it. Hits the high netting. And it
off a Bandit, they blocked that shot. I think it hit Weiss's leg. So a fresh 30 and another chance for Saskatchewan.
Down into the Buffalo zone from the near corner. Dodds will accept the ball from the referee, leaving it back to the top of the slot. Over to Triolo from the far side. Deking is Keenan. Keenan to Triolo. Ball intercepted by Buffalo. Is picked up by Belter, and he swats it back down into the Saskatchewan zone, but it's picked up by a relief member. That's Mike Messenger. Now the left wing pass back over to Patrick Dodds. Tied at 14 here in overtime. Dodds getting the ball back from Triolo. Dodds with a shot. Saved by Matt Vince. Rebound picked up by the veteran goaltender, and he'll tip it over to Cam Wires.
Odd to see that the Rush settled for that shot. There was about 20 seconds left in the shot clock, and Dodds just shoots it into Vince's breadbasket.
Here's Kyle Buchanan. Back behind the net to Nanacoke. Inside the Rush zone. Smith is there. Takes a twirl. Hangs onto the ball. Swim move. Loses control of it. Batted down by the Saskatchewan defense. And it's cleared down the left wing lane. That wide, Jake Boudreau. Now carried across the line. Coming across Church with 6. Can he make it 7? Top of the slot to Triolo with a shot. Saved by Matt Vince. Rebound is left for the taking. And it's picked up by the Bandits and pushed back out at center. Tied at 14 here in overtime. Almost played 5 minutes. McKay with a shot. That glistens off the side of Chiliano. McKay is pushed down. Play is picked up by Church in his own zone. Firing it back out at center to Patrick Dodds. Dodds coming across the Buffalo restraining line from the near side. Back out to center it goes. Saved the over and back charge as Dodd gets it back. Dodds now from the slider. Far side pass. Save! Matt Vince. Rebound Buffalo. Charging down. Dane Smith now crossing the line. Leaving it back out. Here's Corey Highfield with a shot. That's blocked into traffic. Rebound swept away and now picked up by Smith inside the Saskatchewan zone. 10 seconds left to shoot on the shot clock. Byrne is there, shooting the ball. Chiliano with a glove save. Rebound on the near boards.
Loose ball push as Byrne went to scoop that up.
Resetting the shot clock. Byrne with composure on the ball, top of the slot, leaving it back. Quick stay, score! Buffalo! Manicoke.
What an effort from both of these teams, John. You see the Rush players kind of head in their hands. They fought hard the whole game. Came here. This was punch for punch. This was a heavyweight bout between two desperate teams. And John, this goal, Josh Byrne, as you mentioned, very patient, right? He's awarded possession on the loose ball push after Chiliano makes the save. He's on the half wall, takes a couple of strides in, picks his spot, sees Nanakoke with his stick up saying, I'm here, I'm here. And as he feeds it over to him, Nanakoke, a quick stick. Chiliano comes flying over, throws his right arm up to try to get to it. And an incredibly hard-fought win for these Buffalo Bandits. And John, did they ever need it?
4-goal performance tonight for Dehoka Nanakoke and the game winner. And the Bandits snap a 3-game losing streak and remain alive and a part of the March to May program for the National Lacrosse League and the 15 teams that are involved. And I'll tell you what, Buffalo put on quite a performance tonight, but I'm very impressed with the play of Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I mean, they took about a dozen leads here today. Buffalo was just always there to answer. I think I know who the heavyweight player of the game is going to be. I think it's going to have to be Connor Farrell. What a storyline that is for the Bandits. Now we got
things have changed up even with the 3 games being played tonight and a slew of games tomorrow. Here are the standings. Toronto in action tomorrow. Albany a winner tonight. And Buffalo now 500 on the season and nowhere to go but up. And a fantastic performance by the Bandits, snapping the 3-game losing streak, and a great performance tonight by Josh Byrne, 4 goals, 7 assists. Dane Smith 3 and 7 for 10. And Dave Buchanan is with Ian McKay.
To get back on track.
Oh, it's huge to do this, you know, in a tight game like that. We feel like we've been in a lot of tight games recently, 1-goal games. We're right on the edge, and to kind of get over that a little bit and know that we can do it, it feels good. And in front of this crowd, it's even better. So,
how about having some of the weight taken off with Connor Farrell taking the draws late? That had to feel good for you.
Look at him doing a solo lap here. He's an unbelievable guy. Came in and fit into the locker room right away. Loves it, and it's huge. We're getting way more possessions now, as you can see there, and you know, it's only gonna help us down the stretch here.
Go enjoy this with your teammates.
Thank you, appreciate it,
guys.
Goal and 4 assists for Ian McKay for 5 total points, 7 loose balls, and a caused turnover to boot. And Steve, a very important game tonight for the Bandits to get back to 500.
A super game on superhero night from both of these teams. But as you mentioned, John, huge in the standings for the Bandits. And now they look ahead at the team that's in first place, but also the team they've beat in the Toronto Rock.
So 16,596 on hand here at KeyBank Center to celebrate the Marvel Hero Night, and the Galaxy Heroes are the Buffalo Bandits, winning it in overtime, their first of the year. Tom Maddie, our technical director on radio, Joe Calliard, producer and director on radio, Jim Panusis, our producer on television, along with Jeff Mather, our director, for Dave Buchanan. Steve Bermo, John Gertler, good night from Buffalo.